matters is that you won. You push yourself to your purpose, you persevere through the slums. Maneuver smooth through the hustle, you careful making your runs. Everyone packing pistols, stay safely behind your gun. Make sure you got your own back, them busters run. Don't end up doing long time, cause busters some. Looks like loyalty's a thing of the past, and these gangster flicks and rap vids got y'all gas. So when the lead start flying, my guess is that's your ass. Death will let no man pass. My circle is small and for the living, the strong and unforgiving. No nonsense, the driven, each one obsessed with winning. Settle for less is bullshit, I want it all. Take yours, cut it all up and give to the poor. Sit back, watch the fireworks and witness the war. At the day's end, I want more.
At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the crowd goes up, put the playlist on, let the sound go up.
For the drama, you ain't got no beef, and I ain't got no time, cause I don't get no sleep, and I don't need help, only I can do me, and I'ma be fine, cause I wasn't born weak. See, the world ain't mine, cause I wasn't born meek, but I walk this planet for the things that I seek. I suffer in the gutter, push my being to the brink, create what wasn't there, bring life to what I think, blow my cloud in the air, keep my consciousness in sync, my instincts well aware, prepared to throw the kitchen sink, keep fighting till it's finished, till the whole shit sink, till I hit rock bottom, bounce back and reach peak. Back in my proper placement, ready for shit I'm facing. Still feeling alive, cause my heart's still racing. My mind's still moving towards the peace I'm chasing. Tomorrow's not promised, so motherfuck patience.
At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the crowd goes up, put the playlist on, let the sound go up. Till the crowd show up, when the crowd come down, put it right back up and fly. Put the crowd back up and fly. Put it right back up and fly.
The blunts I roll lift the cloud off my soul and help me understand exactly where I'm supposed to go. Help me make a stand, know what I'm supposed to know. See through the facade, try to let my anger go. Life goes on, another show, another town, some of the clowns, some of the hoes. But the only thing that matters waiting on me back at home. Legacy building in the midst of menacing villains, murdering children like the killings becoming thrilling. The rush of bloodlust, women, baby, civilians. Land gon' become sand from all the graves that they filling. Bodies in the lake of the shake on the sidewalk. Yellow crime tape, nothing fake, no outline chalk. Just a kid meeting his fate, knowing his time gone. Bleeding out, hearing the screams of his crying grandma. Dying inside cause she know that her grandchild gone. So there's nothing left to say.
At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the crowd goes up, put the playlist on, let the sound go up. Till the crowd show up, when the crowd come down, put it right back up and fly. Put the crowd back up and fly. Put it right back up and fly.
Hanging from a thread till you dead, cause your partner put a price on your head. Cause your chick was laying up in his bed, she getting details, spitting every word that you said. She working retail. Thirsty bitches try and get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale of fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep parts. You a savage, you can have it, just show how your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, the soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this lands for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shivering, it's a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers will shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving. I'm gone. Salute, salute, salutes. Hope everybody's having a great night. Welcome back to Sha Ill Reacts. I am your host, Sha Ill, and we are back in the building. Salutes to y'all. Right? Y'all the only ones that keep me here, really. Right? I'd have packed this up already if it wasn't that I had the option to come hang out with y'all. So salutes to y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all for being here. Hope everybody's enjoying this Friday evening. Salutes, salutes, salutes. All right, we got happy people that saw payday today. So salutes to y'all. Get them bills paid. Handle your business. All right, appreciate you guys for being here today. We're gonna hang out for a little while. We got a couple of things to go through. I want to go through this Chino Anthrax video. I want to go through some of these JD Delay shorts, and I want to watch a video on the Alaskan Avenger. And put y'all up on the Alaskan Avenger. Those that don't know who he is. All right, let me get my mouthpiece into working right now. Salutes, pause. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate Young Jizzle on the check-in early. Let's get them likes up, y'all. Them likes are 4 or 5 times lower than the concurrent viewers right now, and that is foul and disrespectful, especially on a Friday night. All right, salutes, Young Jizzle on the check-in. All right, happy Friday. Happy Friday. All my pain went away from work today since I got paid. Salutes to you, Young Jizzle. I appreciate you. Ivan is on the same page. Salutes to you, Ivan. Appreciate you. Kino, salutes to you. Thank you for the check-in. 030 North, salutes. Right, got a bunch of the usual suspects in the building. Big Blanc in the building. All right, salutes Old Soul, my brother. 773-707. That beat hard AF. Shy salutes. I appreciate you. That was the beat you was hearing at that point was Dame Grease beat. Shout out 323G on the check-in. Martin Leon, que onda, Shy? You go hard on this track. Thank you, sir. Also said it best. Hit that like button on the way in. All right? Like button should never be 5 times lower than the concurrent viewers. Hit that like button on the way in. If you fuck with me, if you want me to win, if you want these things, these lives to keep happening, these videos to keep coming, we need to hit that like button, y'all. Salutes Perfecto J777 on the check-in. I appreciate you. All right? We hanging out. We got the I'm gonna drop these links in here real quick. Right, here's the links for the here are the TTS links. TTS links. Let me knock this down here. There you go. All right, we got the TTS links for those that can support the channel on that level. Got the Streamlabs link and the Power Chat link right here. Copy. Drop that there. Bam. All right, for a $2 minimum dono, you could drop a $2 minimum dono at one of these links. You can anonymously or with your name say what you want to say right on the screen for everybody to hear, and you know, spread your love, spread your hate, whatever it is. $2 donation for that, and it will look something like this. It's not working for some reason. One sec.
Test user sent $50 test message.
There we go. Oh, and it popped up at the top.
Test user sent $50 test message.
There it is. All right. So for a $2 dono, you can get that. We also have super chat, super thanks, and all those other good things that YouTube gives us. Super stickers for people that can support the channel on that level. All right. I appreciate you guys for being here. The best thing you can do for me is hit that like button. I'd appreciate it if you did that. All right, salutes Erica, XOXOX. What up, Shael? Salutes to you, Erica. Appreciate you being here. We're going to hang out for a bit, all right? Salutes to the usual suspects. I appreciate you guys. All right, I'm sure a couple more people going to come on through. We're going to kick it. Salutes to y'all. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right, long weekend starting for a whole bunch of people. We still got dummies commenting. I'm looking at comments as we speak. All right, so first and foremost, there's this Chino Anthrax video that I wanted to get. A lot of people ask about this guy. You know, he's always comes up in the topic of conversation. He has some legendary stories behind him. We spoke to the twins, and the twins, you know, didn't take nothing away from the fact that the man was an iller and an unaliver. But you know, he wasn't a boss. He was sent to do work, you know what I'm saying? And people glorify him like he's a boss. And again, the people that are into the cartel situation, they tend to pick and choose. And I'm here to, you know, shine the light on everybody. It is what it is, you know what I mean? So we're going to check out this video. I appreciate y'all. All right, hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Bow, 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 bow. All right? Coin drops for everybody that got paid today. Let's get it, all right? Tell a friend to tell a friend we are here.
On the 18th of October 2013, this happened. Can you see it? Him, the clown. In the next few seconds, this clown would assassinate Francisco Rafael Arellano Felix, the leader of the notorious Tijuana cartel and one of Mexico's most dangerous men at the time, in front of everyone present at his 63rd birthday party. Today,
That's a big job right there. You know what I'm saying? I'd be interested in seeing if there's a video we could find where they talk about basically how he pulled it off, because that's a big one right there. You in the party, you the clown, you in a clown suit, and it goes down like that. And he wasn't just going after, from my understanding, some nothing. He was going after a boss. So, you know.
hey, we know the clown assassin was Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa.
Smoke him if you got him. Crack him if you got him. If you're sober, here's a hug and some love for you. Let's get it, y'all. Appreciate you. Let's get it. All right, pouring mine up. Yeah, let's do that.
Sinaloa Cartel's highest-ranking hitman, better known as El Chino Anthrax, third birth Mexico's most dangerous men at the time, in front of everyone present at his 63rd birthday party. Today, we know the clown assassin was Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, Sinaloa Cartel's highest-ranking hitman, better known as El Chino Anthrax. And today, I'll be telling you his story. Shady beginnings. Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa had a surprisingly normal and privileged upbringing. He was born on the 15th of June in the city of Culiacan, the very heart of the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. His family were well respected and somewhat affluent. His father was a government official and his mother was an academic. However, there was a problem right from the very beginning, and it had...
Alright, so that just lets you know that in some cases, in a lot of cases, I believe in La Barbie's case too, these guys are not poverty cases. These guys are not in the game because they need to eat, you know. These guys are in the game because the game called to them and they was greedy and bloodthirsty. You know what I mean? It's a difference. That's a difference than the kid that's getting 8 pesos to carry a hammer and go to war with these guys that and to be left to these guys like that kid that we watched the video about the other day. There was a kid that got caught by the opposition. The opposition asked him how he got caught. He said, my guy told me to run ahead of him. I ran ahead of him. He shot me in the legs and he left me there. Right? That kid was getting paid. He was offered 12 pesos. I don't know how, you know, if it's a day, a week, or whatever. And when he got there, it went down to 8. That's not the case for a Chino Anthrax. That's not the case for a La Barbie. These guys come from affluent families and money and education. You know what I mean?
And his mother was an academic. Well respected and somewhat affluent. His father was a government official and his mother was an academic. However, there was a problem right from the very beginning, and it had everything to do with Arechiga's neighbors. You see, the family that lived next door to Arechiga through his childhood were the Zambadas. And if you aren't familiar with that name, I'll break it down for you in a few seconds. Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garcia was part of the 4 people who founded the Sinaloa Cartel.
So that's an easy come up, right? When the neighbor is the man. You know, Mayo been in the game a long time. Now think about that too. Not only did they say, oh, Chino Anthrax, you know, comes from an affluent family, and Mayo's his neighbor, but Chino Anthrax's father is a government official. So that means a government official was Mayo's neighbor too. Just goes to show you how close, if not separate at all, how thin the line is between government and cartel in Mexico. It's the same thing. One and the same.
25 years ago, in 1987, when El Chapo was still active, Zambada led his own faction. The only reason you don't hear much about him was because, unlike El Chapo, who enjoyed courting the spotlight, Zambada had always been content with being the equally ruthless, equally cunning, shadowy figure. Now, back to Arechiga's story.
Which is again another reason Jay says that he's still alive and free, and that he'll die a free man because he's smart and he's quiet. You know, very rare does he pop his head out for any reason, or has he even over the years for any reason. Very hard to find pictures of him. You know, you'll hear stories and instances, but you ain't finding many pictures or video. And then they say when he did do the interview with a very well-known, decorated reporter in Mexico, they say he did that to send a message to his son who was in an American prison. So, very smart, cunning man. Again, not to be glorified, because from my understanding, he was into underage girls too. So, you know, he got no place on my t-shirt.
Mayo Zambada had 3 sons, Vicente Zambada Niebla, Ismael Zambada Imperial, and Serafin Zambada Ortiz. Those 3 sons were around the same age with Arechiga, and being his neighbors, he grew up with them. Many years later, in a courtroom, Arechiga's mum would say this about her son's relationship with the Zambadas. They went to school together, they played together, they participated in sports together, they attended social events together, they grew to be best friends. No one knows how much influence the Zambada boys had over.
So them boys met in Little League. Neighbors. A cartel boss and a government official, neighbors.
Arashiga, but you must know that Zambada did not shield his sons from his cartel business. It was a family business. However, as Arashiga grew older, he didn't show any indication that he would live a life of crime. He tried to be a pilot in the Mexican military, but failed the physical
Failed.
So I can take all these trips because Priceline has all these amazing deals.
How you fail
exam
the
because he had
exam?
to live a life of crime. He tried to be a pilot in the Mexican military, but failed the physical exam because he had a skin condition called psoriasis. So, Arashiga shifted his focus to other things. More specifically, he decided to pursue a degree in architecture in college. During his time in college, 2 life-changing events happened to him in rather quick succession.
All right, so this guy he seems like he has some legitimate ambition in his life. Legitimate ambition in the sense that he even shot for a chance to go to the Air Force, and also that he was in college and that he attempted to be an architect. Those sound like very noble ambitions to have, for him to turn into what he turned into. That's bananas, all right? Salutes to Leovaldo. What up, Shael? Happy Friday, everyone. Salutes to you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Victor said, an invisible. Not anymore, man. Shit. Unalivers, criminals, nice neighbors. Damn. All right, for those that don't know Victor Thompson, this is how Victor speaks. All right? Sometimes it's hard to understand, but, sometimes you can take it the wrong way. Sometimes you're taking it the right way, but, all right, some sarcasm, a lot of exclamations and question marks. Salutes to you, Victor, for being here. Appreciate you. Let's get it.
1. He had a daughter, and 2. He got married. These new responsibilities forced him to drop out of school, and this is when things take a dramatic turn for the worse. A new chapter.
Okay, so that was his trauma. His trauma was that he had a shorty and a wife. Hit the like button, y'all. He had a shorty and a wife. That's the trauma. That's what turned him into, the Joker.
As a father, husband, and provider proved to be incredibly difficult for Arashiga, and when it became unbearable, he turned to his childhood friends, the Zambada brothers, for help. One of the brothers, Vicente Zambada, also known as El Vicentillo, chose to help Arashiga the only way he could, by introducing him to cartel business. Arashiga was first tasked with small and harmless errands, like driving shipments and supervising goods to their destinations. And when he did these tasks perfectly, El Vicentillo introduced him to the drug trade. It was during this time that Arashiga's creativity entered the spotlight. He came up with an ingenious method of getting shipments of cocaine and marijuana across the border without getting caught. His plan involved creating a network of legitimate businesses that required shipments to America from Mexico. Then, he would set up several legitimate trucking companies that delivered those shipments. This way, he could legally get the trucks across because they had the proper paperwork, and the Border Patrol would have no idea that tons and tons of drugs were hidden in each truck. In no time, Arashiga became a big-time player within the Sinaloa cartel and caught the attention of El Vicentillo's father, the senior Zambada, El Mayo, who began to take a liking to him. Somewhere, sometime around this point, something snapped within Arashiga, or maybe it had always been there, because this was when he began to exhibit an unquenchable thirst for blood. He voluntarily engaged in the more grisly parts of the cartel.
All right, that's in him. I'm not hearing the story. I was watching Trap Lord Ross on My Expert Opinion. I'm not watching the story of a person whose trauma, who lost so many people, whose best friend got unalived, this or that, and that turned him to the dark side. Nah, I see a little discomfort. Got a wife and a kid now, a little discomfort. Come up, never needed nothing. Now he got to go make it on his own. A little bit of discomfort sent him over there. Right? He goes over there, does a couple of things, and turns into the Joker. Like, I'm not hearing some traumatic story. That's just a dude that figured out that he was a sociopath.
Trade. More than anyone else in the cartel at that point, Arashiga was willing to murder people. However, thirst for blood. He voluntarily engaged in the more grisly parts of the cartel trade. More than anyone else in the cartel at that point, Arashiga was willing to murder people. However, it was the things he did with the bodies of the people that he killed that turned him into a notoriously feared urban legend. Mutilated bodies like cautionary banners and grisly ribbons were hung up on public bridges within Sinaloan territory. And
So is that his calling card? Was that not a thing before that? The stringing up of the ops from the bridge with the signs? Did he bring that to the game? We like to ask those questions. Or I like to ask those questions here. Just like when we got into the Güero Palma story and how, they went after his family and how we said, well, is that the beginning of them just throwing out the window? Shout out Jorge Guzman, George Guzman for the subscription. Appreciate you.
George Guzman just subscribed on YouTube.
Thank you, sir. We asked the question, was that when it became okay in the game to start going after people's families? Because if you know now what the cartel's like, that's a common thread in the cartel is, you and your family can get it. Everybody can get it.
Rumor in town was that anyone who died at the hands of Arechiga continued their suffering in the afterlife because of what was done to their body. Unsurprisingly, El Mayo capitalized on Arechiga's flair for violence and added him to his retinue of feared assassins. And more importantly, he was made the personal bodyguard of El Vicentillo, Los Antrax. Sometime around 2008, Arechiga was removed from bodyguard duties and given a new, arguably more important assignment by El Mayo. There was a civil war brewing within the Sinaloa cartel. An ally of the Sinaloa cartel had broken off and was waging war. They were the Beltran Leyva organization, and while their fight was with El Chapo, El Mayo was caught in the middle of it and had to join the war. The situation was the perfect storm for Arechiga. He formed his own armed squadron of the Sinaloa cartel and
Now we know that that's not his army. We know that's Mencho's army right there because we saw them in another video. All right, so we know that they're just using this for context. But Antrax got his army up to go at it with the Beltran Leyvas in the midst of the war with Sinaloas. Was going down.
Named it Los Antrax after the infamous deadly bacteria. Members of his team included his right-hand man, René Velázquez Valenzuela, aka El Sargento Phoenix, Jesus Peña, also known as El-20, Rafael Guadalupe Felix Núñez, also known as Chino Anthrax, amongst others. And every member was given a ring. As the head of this hit squad, Arechiga would come to be known as El Chino Anthrax, which translated to the Chinese Anthrax. They had two jobs. One was the
Yeah, they blocking out the faces on these pictures, but these dudes took these pictures like this is some clout shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not good enough that you got an army and a bunch of armed up dudes and some bread and some backup. It's not good enough. You got to take pictures to feel it even more. Like, this is crazy to me. If those are real pictures of them, living out their music video dreams.
Which translated to the Chinese Anthrax. They had two jobs. One was the protection of El Mayo Zambada, and the second was war on anyone who dared to cross their paths. For Arechiga and his hit squad, that was practically anybody. Los Antrax wreaked havoc on Sinaloa over a 5-year period of unending violence, and Arechiga turned into an unrecognizable monster. Every time they clashed with a
Now, I will say this, there's kids that in that trauma, right? In the trauma of those wars happening, right? We talked about how I didn't find the trauma in just what they told us of Chino's story here. But there's kids that were in the midst of that war, that watched that war happen, that lost people, lost uncles, fathers, mothers, sisters, whatever in those wars. Now, there's kids like that ended up with them hammers in their hands that came up from that. And that was the moment that changed them into, what they are today, running around with big guns.
Beltran Leyva, it was a bloodbath, with casualties on both sides, including civilians. Meanwhile, the Mexican army joined the party and tried to take both factions down. After a while, rival cartel members got fed up and they began taking out members of the Los Antrax.
It's like an album cover and shit. They got a logo. It's like an album cover.
Even the Mexican military joined the party. Meanwhile, Arechiga began to take an unhealthy liking to the spotlight. As Arechiga's gang suffered hit after hit, his leadership began to look shaky in the eyes of El Mayo. On the 1st of November 2011, Los Antrax suffered one of its biggest blows when a fellow leader of the squad, Francisco Archirubio, whom everyone knew as Pancho, was killed during an indoor soccer game in Culiacan by rival gangsters of Los Mazatlecos. The enforcer on...
You can't even go to the soccer game, man. Soccer game ain't even safe. Shit. Shout out Upper Echelon on the check-in. Salutes to you, sir. Omar Carranza said, El Changuito Antrax is still in the game. His crew is in the state of Colima to this day. Bananas.
arm of the Beltran Leyva organization. The reprisal violence that followed shook different cities in Sinaloa for months to come. Bodies hung from the bridges, civilians shot dead on playgrounds. There was violence everywhere.
Civilians shot dead on playgrounds. Like, a gang do that in Chicago, I don't condone it. Many a filthy motherfucker done that in Chicago. You know, some kid gets hit in the middle of some shit that kid ain't got nothing to do with. Over here, times 1,000. I mean, not in Chicago, I'm talking about there. Times 1,000.
Everywhere. Meanwhile, as Arechiga took out revenge on his enemies, he also picked up another questionable hobby: social media influencer. As crazy as it sounds,
you wilding the fuck out. If you live in it, however you live in it, and you want to be a social media influencer. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
And frankly, it shouldn't. Arechiga flaunted his wealth on social media and effectively became a social media influencer. He made millions of dollars from the cartel and, unsurprisingly, spent those millions on flashy cars, rented out expensive yachts, bought expensive watches and houses. Arechiga also had
Wilding, they wilding out. Iron Claw, good movie.
It's Pam. What do you want in life?
Bunch of lies,
Come on,
man.
Eric.
I want
several narco corrido ballads written about him, some of which described him as an elegant and fit man who
Right, they writing songs for
bought
Buddy.
expensive watches and houses.
super clout, man. Super clout.
Arechiga also had several narco corrido ballads written about him, some of which described him as an elegant and fit man who enjoyed his sports cars, yachts, and drinking champagne. And he posted everything on social media, flaunting his wealth for the world to see. He even posed with famous celebrities like this one, with Paris Hilton.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get that shit. The clout
well
of
for the
being in a
world to
room
see.
with some
He-
dumb blonde from a rich family is enough to put your face out there like that. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
Even posed with famous celebrities like this one.
It lends to an emptiness. There's something missing in these dudes.
Jonathan Pinto just sent $5 salutes to you, my dude. I apologize for being late. Thank you for always above and beyond with your resilient grind, providing us with all kinds of content. Shout out to the committed jet. Like and subscribe for the great quality content. It's Lee.
Yo, I'm gonna assume, I don't know who the fuck that was. I'm gonna assume that was Super Mario. Supposed to be Super Mario. Shout out Jonathan Pantoja with the $5 power chat. He said, salute Sha'il. My dude, I apologize for being late. No worries. Thank you for always going above and beyond with your resilient grind, providing us with all kinds of content. Shout out to the committed chat. Like and subscribe for the great quality content. Is free. All right, 100. Salutes to you, Jonathan. Let's see, y'all. Who do y'all think it is? Put your suggestion in the live chat of whose voice is this. Is this Super Mario? Who is this?
Jonathan Pinto just sent $5 salutes to you, my dude. I apologize for being late. Thank you for always above and beyond with your resilient grind, providing us with all kinds of content. Shout out to the committed jet. Like and subscribe for the great quality content. It's Lee.
That's Salvador Dali, I think. I don't know. Salutes to you, Jonathan. Appreciate you, sir. All right, never late, always on time. Salutes IB. He said one up. All right, but yeah, so this is a lot of clout shit, man. I don't need no picture with Paris Hilton. If I'm out there making big money, I got his squads. You wildin'.
With Paris Hilton.
It does. It lends to an emptiness in these dudes. It lends to an insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Something that they don't get from anything they do. You know? They still need it. The attention.
While he might have blurred out his face to hide his identity, security agencies all over the world began to pick up on his tail, and it didn't take them long to figure out a way to catch him. You see, while Arechiga might have made efforts to hide his identity, his signature Los Antrax ring was on his finger in every picture. He never took it off, and this slip-up would ultimately lead to his downfall in the final months of 2013.
He's wilding now. He tweaked.
Arrest, jail, snitch.
Oh no! Arrest, jail, and the word that shall not be uttered. All right? The pick and choose word of the century. Snitch. Here we go. Let's get it, y'all. Hit that like button. Stop acting shady. All right? Salute Martin Leon. He's seeing the shadiness go on in the background. He's seeing what's happening around here. It's all good. Gonna make that happen. Hit that like button, y'all. All right? Let's see what happened with his arrest, his jail, and his snitching.
On the 31st of December, just months after assassinating the head of the Tijuana cartel, Arechiga decided to take a vacation. He left Mexico for the Netherlands, and immediately upon landing, he was arrested by members of the Dutch police. Some days before then, the US had alerted the Dutch that a 33-year-old Mexican citizen who also happened to be a drug lord would be arriving in their country in a few days, and they wanted him to be arrested. So, immediately after...
These dudes was globetrotting. That's one thing they were doing. They were going everywhere but America. Well, they was even in America too, but they was everywhere. They was traveling.
Arechiga landed, they identified him and took him in. However, the identification process wasn't easy because Arechiga was flying under a false identity.
And here's the thing, when everybody in the comments likes asking about, yo, why don't they just run? Why didn't they just run? Why didn't they just run? And they had the money to just run. Well, man, it's facial recognition. It's all kind of shit going on out
Citizen who also happened to be a drug lord
get
would be
popped
arriving
off
in
in
their
another
country in a
country
few
for something
days, and they
stupid.
wanted him to be arrested. So, immediately after Arechiga landed, they identified him and took him in. However, the identification process wasn't easy because Arechiga was flying under a false identity, the identity of a dead man, probably one that he killed. He had also grown a beard and slightly altered his face with plastic surgery.
That's
What
crazy.
helped the authorities to identify him was his Los Antrax ring, which he had
I was
foolishly
gonna say it
kept
was
on
the
his
shoes.
finger.
Gotta be the shoes. Hold on, let's see what his face.
Grown a
changed.
beard and slightly altered his
Was that him?
of a dead man, probably one that he killed. He had also grown
That don't look like him, but it could be. Got some weight
a
on
beard
him.
and slightly
Changed his face with plastic surgery. So crazy lengths to go, boy. Upper echelon says so. He was a unaliver, social media influencer, cooperator, but he's still idolized by all these so-called thugs, gangsters, idiotas, YouTube commenters. Facts. Well, they're about to get into that. I want to see how they defend this in the comments. Because again, some people pick and choose. They'll say, they'll say all kind of shit about the twins, and then they'll ask about this guy, and it's like, but didn't this dude do the same thing? If not crazier. Like, dude got mad bodies. But we're gonna get to it. Don't come in here with spoilers. Salute Chucky. Chucky came in with a spoiler yesterday or the day before.
altered his face with plastic surgery.
That's crazy. That's a crazy length to go to, that plastic surgery shit. But I guess desperation is desperation. You got to get out. You got to get out.
Helped the authorities to identify him was his Los Antrax ring, which he had foolishly kept on his finger. Extradition and trial in the US. On the 10th of July 2014, Arechiga was extradited to the US. The next day, he was arraigned and formally charged for drug charges. At first, Arechiga was stubborn and pleaded not guilty to the drug charges against him. But after several hearings, Arechiga did a 360. On the 20th of March 2015, he pled guilty and admitted that he had been involved in cocaine and marijuana shipment into the US and had facilitated violent activities while working for the Sinaloa cartel. This change.
There it is. Pleaded guilty on the 20th of March 2015 and admitted that he had participated in cocaine and MJ shipments from Mexico to the U.S. and that he had facilitated violent activities for the Sinaloa cartel. All right? Abby said I was just about to make a comment about how cooperation influencers are going to be a thing soon, with all due respect. Dog, there's so much crazy shit happening in this country and in that country that it's bananas. All right, we're gonna get to that soon when we get past this. Upper echelon said that he still ain't have more money than us. 030 North said, nah, he's not a snitch. Everybody wants to pick and choose. Absolutely, that's it. Go Buck said, in Mini League, Damaso is next. He's snitching on the Los Chapitos as a free man. Yeah, I was listening to some of that Camilo Ochoa stuff. That's some more stuff for us to go through and unpack and see what it's about. Salutes Jonathan. Jonathan says, salutes for anyone still wondering. It was Mario. Yeah, nobody gave their guesses. It was Mario. I was in the live, but I dragged due to trying to switch up the voices. All good. Take your time, bro. Upper Echelon said, I have a crazy story about him and me in prison. What's up? You want to tell it? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Give me a yes or no, and I'll fire up the or if you want to hold it for another time, I'll fire up the Discord. One ups all around. Mushroom King.
the US and had facilitated violent activities while working for the Sinaloa cartel. This change of heart was suspicious.
I believe I said idiot YouTube commenters. Come on, man. Clarify for me, Ivan.
And there were a lot of questions at the time. Was he tortured? Why was he suddenly confessing? What offer could the prosecutors have given him that he couldn't refuse? At the end of his trial, he pled guilty and admitted that he had been involved in cocaine and marijuana. Arechiga was stubborn and pleaded not guilty to the drug charges against him. But after several hearings, Arechiga did a 360. On the 20th of March 2015, he pled guilty and admitted that he had been involved in cocaine and marijuana shipment into the US and had facilitated violent activities while working for the Sinaloa cartel. This change of heart was suspicious, and there were a lot of questions at the time. Was he tortured? Why was he suddenly confessing? What offer could the prosecutors have given him that he couldn't refuse? At the end of his trial, that offer became quite clear when he was given an incredibly light sentence of just 6 years in a US prison and an extra 5 years of probation. During the 6 years, El Chino Anthrax snitched on almost everyone,
I hope the commenters heard that. You know what I'm saying? He snitched on almost everyone. That's the word. That's what they say, right? Upper echelon said, in the prison he wasn't shit, meaning he was just another dude. All right? If anybody is out there that wants to attest otherwise, then let it be known. Camilo Ochoa came from money. His parents owned Pollo Loco restaurants. He always had money. Bet. Yeah, I don't know much about him. I was just listening to his problems and what he was saying about Oakland leaks and shit like that. That's a whole unfolding thing that, yeah, it's going to take some time to unpack. They don't do much editing. They record and drop that shit. So it's like, I got to piece that stuff together. But yeah, in the 6 years
that he couldn't refuse. At the end of his trial, that offer became quite clear when he was given an incredibly light sentence of just 6 years in a US prison and an extra 5 years of probation. During the 6 years, El Chino Anthrax snitched on almost everyone, collaborating with the US Attorney's Office, giving names, addresses, and exposing forms of operation of the Sinaloa cartel in the US.
So that's not snitching? What am I missing here? I need the commenters, not the people in the chat. The people in the chat seem to understand. I need the commenters to chime in and let me know what the difference is between one dude snitching and somebody else snitching. They're all, what are we talking about here? All right? Jonathan said, upper echelon, salutes, blessings and prayers to you and your family. Hope all is well with you guys. Salutes. IB salutes. Omar Carranza said, Chino's name became well known after Geraldo Ortiz made the song El Mundo Es Tuyo. You should check out that song out when you can. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out on my own because I'm sure I'll probably get copyrighted for it. YouTube has age-restricted lives in this last week. They've demonetized stuff this week. They are on my ass. All right? They do not want to see me grow for some reason or the other. Somebody don't want to see me grow for some reason or the other. Leobaldo said he snitched on everyone. That's why he got smoked. He got smoked. I mean, we'll see. I don't want to bury the ending, or I don't want to expose the ending, but boom. Let's get it.
The intel that he shared was so useful that it went a long way in destabilizing major parts of the Sinaloa cartel. Meanwhile, everyone at home, including El Mayo, were fully aware that their golden boy had turned into a rat. The ultimate end. On the 3rd of March 2020, Arechiga was released on parole and placed under house arrest in the US for obvious reasons. The terms of his parole limited him to a radius of 500 meters from his house in California. However, a few months after, in May, he escaped his parole and returned to Culiacan to live with his sister and her husband.
Why? You know what I'm saying? Why?
Surprisingly, 10 days later, on the night of May 14th, 2020, Arechiga, his sister, and her husband were in the house when all of a sudden, masked gunmen invaded the property and began shooting at them. Arechiga responded with gunfire, but he eventually ran out of ammo and they were all taken hostage. The following morning, the body of Arechiga, along with his sister and her husband, were discovered in a black SUV, wrapped in cloth with their head.
So he damned his whole family, like, you know what I'm saying? He went back over there and everybody got smoked. Like, what? Why? What was the point of that?
heads covered in plastic bags. They had all been tortured and shot dead. There was a lot of speculation about who could have ordered this attack on El Chino. Some say it was probably members of the Tijuana Cartel taking revenge on him for his assassination of their boss. Others point fingers at remnant members of the Beltran Leyva.
Well, again, at that point, when you're a dude like that and you got so many enemies, it could have been anybody. You know? Could have been anybody.
Organization that had already been disbanded by the Mexican military. However, and whoever it was, the attack happened deep in Sinaloa territory, and there is no way anyone could have launched such an attack without El Mayo or the senior members of the cartel knowing. And in the months after the attack, when there were no reprisals...
I guess they was picking and choosing too. He was ratting on them. So, boom. They were like, all right, you gonna get it. He got
reaction or revenge for the assassination of one of their former top sicarios, it became clear. El Mayo must have been the one who ordered the killing, and if he didn't, he definitely allowed it. To them, El Chino Anthrax was a traitor who had sold them out, and in any world, business or crime, that is unforgivable.
But they don't consider themselves traitors when they damn somebody else because it's used as a tool. That's what's bananas. Upper Echelon said, I don't think that's the reason why he was unalived. I believe that it's the jealousy that we keep talking about Chapo's sons and other dudes that where nobody came up while he was gone. It was payback. Got to slow down. So yeah, and jealousy, another lame ass thing. Like everybody can get paid. This greed and jealousy, it just fuels everything everywhere. And it all goes to hell. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gets to eat because everybody's smoking each other. That's the real story that even someone like him, the Mexican Scarface, that's the real story. That even someone like him, the Mexican Scarface, like everyone else. So basically what you're saying is that jealousy from the Chapitos bred all of this shit. I don't know, man. That shit is crazy. But, again, to all the commenters that be in the comments asking about Chino Anthrax, why don't you have the same energy for him that you have for the twins? I don't understand that shit. When everybody in that business is doing the same shit. I don't get it. Make it make sense.
So, why did Arechiga leave the safety of his probation in the US to return to Sinaloa, where he should have known he wasn't wanted? Did he really think everything he had done would be so easily forgiven? Who assured his safety upon his return? Or was El Chino Anthrax just that dumb?
Save up to...
When you put it that way, anything's possible. You could be a great unaliver, doesn't mean you got the sense God gave a mule. You know, so it could be anything. What do y'all think? All right. Why do you guys think that there's a picking and choosing situation? Why do you think that the twins, I don't know if you guys that be in the chat, I don't know if y'all be in the comments, but why do they get such vitriol and that kind of energy and people ask about these guys in some glorified manner with all of these bodies, with all of these cooperations and all of these missions under their belt, all these betrayals under their belt, and they don't catch the same energy, and people still make songs about it. I just don't understand it. It don't make sense to me. Everybody in the same boat at that point. Leobaldo said at Mini Leak, I'm surprised that they haven't found him. His cousin El Liebra thought it was okay to run to Phoenix since the Damasos got kicked out of Sinaloa and got smoked outside a Clásico nightclub. You know, at the end of the day, if you're on the run from a whole sector of a country, you know what I'm saying, a place that you called home, if you're in a place where people, you know, see you and you probably shouldn't be in the club, bro. You know, you probably should have gave up that part of the life when you ran. But you put yourself in a situation for somebody to find you. It just doesn't make sense to me. Again, what do I know, right? But my question is, you know, why does the energy change? I'm interested to see what some of these comments say here. There's mad people defending all kind of shit in there. They're not doing nothing. Too many weak. Yo, you gotta take that voice to text shit off. Upper echelon. They're not doing nothing. Too many weak. He's in protection. Goldbug said Damaso Lopez Sr. was the guard that got Chapo out in the laundry basket. He also was the boss when Chapo got arrested. And from what I'm hearing from this Ochoa guy is he's saying that Damaso gassed up his father to feel like he deserved more and to go at his friends, right? But then on the other side, Oakland Leaks is saying, it was all jealousy play on the other side, on the Chapito side. So it's like you gotta take it out with a grain of salt. El Mini, I heard, is not in WIT Pro. He got protection from the DEA. Who knows, man? DEA, CIA, everybody is all together in that situation. Who the fuck knows? Who knows? Who knows? I just don't get it. It's all the same shit to me. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of victims that don't nobody give a fuck about. Everybody care about making songs for dude. Nobody made a song for the victims. Where's that song at? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Miss me with the bullshit. Salute to y'all in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Throw these hundreds up. They have different programs. I don't know the context to that. Right? Boom, hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. All right? If you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that you can get sometimes get a notification from YouTube. You can also join our Discord. In our Discord, you get better notifications from there than you will from YouTube. So I'll drop that in here. Wow. There's the Discord invite. Upper Echelon said, but it's still the same. Ain't no one messing with a government witness of that stature. Yeah, I'm sure. Right. Protected. They need him. He has testifying to do. You know what I'm saying? Kerry Heck Perez on the check-in. Big salutes. Shy, Texas in the house. Everything's bigger in Texas, right? Big salutes. Salutes to Kerry. I appreciate you being here. Think like a kingpin in the building. Salutes to you, sir. All right. Appreciate you. Hundreds up for y'all in the chat. We was in here discussing El Chino Anthrax. He said, man, I vented my thoughts to you this week. It be like that, man. Trust me, it's heavy. All right? Salutes Ivan Livas. I appreciate you. It be like that, man. It be like that. We're going to pop into another subject. I don't know how many people are going to stick around for this one. I'm hoping that y'all care. We've been lately talking about child abuse in the cartel, how the bosses and how many affluent people up at that level spend big money on young girls, not women. And we've been watching on this channel. We've been watching Vitali do takedowns and stings, and we've been seeing the police kind of brush it off and not give a shit about it, and it's become something crazy. Also said Dr. Shy. I'm a therapist, dog. Dr. Shy. Salutes. We've been talking about how this affects everything. How, people glorify, again, like we just talked about with Chino Anthrax, people glorify these criminals. There was a great conversation. You guys should check it out. It was on My Expert Opinion between Math Hoffa and Trap Lord Ross. For those that don't know who Trap Lord Ross is, he is a British, I believe he's British, YouTuber that covers Chicago trap music or drill music and covers all the unaliving that goes on in that culture. And a lot of people follow him, and it was a good conversation. I think Matt Hoffa should have probably spoke a little less and let Mecca speak a little more. But the conversation they were having was the glorification of criminals. And we've been saying here, or I've been saying here, I'm watching guys like Adam 22 at No Jumper wear a Pablo Escobar shirt And I'm thinking to myself, why are we glorifying Pablo Escobar when Pablo Escobar was a diddler? Pablo Escobar was into underage girls. Pablo Escobar was a chomo. You know what I'm saying? Why are we putting that on the shirt, right? Again, it's like people's argument with Che. A lot of people argue, oh, these people wear a Che shirt and don't understand the monster he was. You know what I'm saying? One person's monster is another person's hero, it seems. Right? But then we have these universal truths. And what are the universal truths? Don't snitch. Don't touch little kids, right? That's what everybody says. And then there's picking and choosing going on in that. So why is he wearing this Pablo Escobar shirt, right? And then I seen he had a Pablo Escobar Chapo shirt. And I'm like, well, Chapo's the same deal. We heard it from the mouth of a young lady. You'd be surprised how many people defended that in the comments. Defended a lady in her 30s who says she's 31 years old, who was not propositioned but taken by Chapo at the age of 14 and kept for 2 years till she was 16. And told it out of her mouth and told it pleasantly, right? Which gives an out to people that are thirsty to having a deja vu moment. To people that are thirsty to find anything to have an excuse, to pull an excuse out of. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. They were like, oh, look, she talks about him like he's great. She loved it. This, that, the other. And it's just surprising that these people with a straight face now, internet's mostly anonymous, right? People use no face, no names, say what they want to say. But you're sitting there and I'm looking at these comments and these people looking to defend. And it's like, why do I want my kid? Now, I was a kid that came up looking up to mafia bosses and mafia dons. That's the ignorance of a kid. If you don't know what skeletons are in that mafia don's closet, right? And then you find out and it's like, that ain't the guy no more. Right? These cartel guys that you look up to, that you chose a side, I'm with this side, I'm with that side. Well, do the research. Find out if they was a chomo or not. And then make your decision. And if you can do that shit with a straight face, then I don't understand who you are, what you are. You know what I mean? But we've been having that conversation here. I don't want kids glorifying and walking around with a shirt of a pedophile. Right? Probably just got demonetized for saying that word, which is unfortunate. So, give me a sec. Let's get through this chat real quick. Leovaldo Gasolem said, also, at the end of the day, for everyone who likes Los Chapitos, no, they're not good people. Valen verga. Sorry ass people. They unalived my homie in front of his son because he didn't want to work for them. That's the part where I say you're no longer in the hustle. Now at this point, you're a monster. All right? If you have to take away innocence to build your strength, you have no place. That's just how I see it. You've crossed the line to where this is a noble effort of the poor man trying to get over on the rich man or the government or the elite, right? You've broken that already by taking innocence. You bogus. Leobaldo said, check it out. Matan a Cesar Bueno Martinez in El Dorado, Sinaloa, QDEP. I'll look into it. Salutes Kerry. Kerry says, shit is sick. How all the higher ups, elites abuse and take advantage of kids from the gangsters to the presidents is crazy. How they hide out but distract us by saying Ruggs is the problem. That's a fact. These chomos are very low on the list. What they're doing as chomos is very low on the list for them. But since we've been having that conversation here, I wanted to check out a couple of shorts from JD Delay, all right? Because he's good at giving out information. He's very passionate about this subject, and he too believes that there should be no safe place for a chomo on this planet. You know what I mean? And I think the conversation needs to be had. Because watching Vitaly and nobody giving a shit and the police not being able or having their hands tied or the DA or this or that, this should be the world's number one priority. The world's number one priority should be to protect children. Period, point blank. I think, you know. So I want to go through these and check these out real quick. I enjoy how JD Delay, gets his point across. All right? And again, he also, to the commenters, is asking them, why is there picking and choosing? Let me know what you stand behind. In the comments, a lot of people have let me know that it's part of the culture. It's no big deal. She lived a good life. They all do it. That makes me feel afraid for the daughters of the people that made those comments, for the sons of the people that made those comments. I fear for your children. And you sitting here with the audacity to make those comments. Rogan always says there's going to be a day where anonymity is over. I think there's going to be a culling when that happens. A purge. All right? So let's check out these shorts from JD Delay. Just a couple shorts here, and then we're going to get into the Alaskan Avenger. All right? This is dope. Stick around with me. All right? This all links together. At the end of the day, everything is to protect the children. And if I don't want my kids wearing a Chapo shirt because he's a chomo, then the information should be out there. Right? All this information that JD Delay is about to drop, all this information should be out there. People need to know these things. All right, so salute, stick around. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Thank you to everybody that's been here. Smoke them if you got them. Crack them open if you got them. If you're sober, here's a hug and some love. Salutes to you. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's get it. Hit the like button, y'all. All right, we like 50% likes. 40%. Let's get it. Get them up. Here we go.
But people know exactly where y'all stand on this. Hey, I have a question that's specifically for people that are in the LGBTQ community. And if you're not in that community, I want you to go to the comments and check out what their answers are, because I already know what it's going to be. So look, y'all, I already know that there are people out there who refer to themselves as maps, and we all know who these people are, and that they're trying to make themselves a part of your community. How do you feel about that? Do any of you guys want schmetterschmiles, pee-pee touchers, and purple-headed pamper eaters in your community? Do you accept them? Would you ever accept them? How does it feel when other people try to associate you guys with them? Because I got a lot of homies, yo, and I've talked to them all, and they're 1,000% not down with the sickness. But I also understand that there might be some people out there who don't have the same access to be able to openly and freely communicate with people in your community. So I thought it might be nice to make an open forum right here, right now in the comments, so that you can let those type of people know exactly where y'all stand on this. One love, y'all. Hey.
He's calling them out. He's calling out the LGBTQ, calling them out, and wants them to speak on how they feel about this. Now, he said MAPS. We're going to get to MAPS. There's other organizations, all right, that people need to know about. You have children, you want to protect your children, right? This is it. Salutes Miguel Lopez. Salutes Broski. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. This is what you need to know. If you want to fight that good fight, this is what you need to know. That these people exist, that they're out there, that they're lurking, that they're next door. They're down the block. They're in the park. They're at the gas station. They're everywhere. All right? But he's making a call to arms. Not a call to arms. I say that metaphorically. But, hey, man, denounce these motherfuckers. Basically what he's telling the LGBTQ community. Because maybe these dudes, maybe these maps, these evil animals, maybe they feel like they're lying somehow.
Hey, I have a question that's specifically for people that are in the LGBTQ community. And if you're not in that community, I want you to go to the comments and check out what their answers are because I already know what it's going to be. So look, y'all, I already know that there are people out there who refer to themselves as maps, and we all know who these people are, and that they're trying to make themselves a part of your community. How do you feel about that? Do any of you guys want schmetterschmiles, pee-pee touchers, and purple-headed pamper eaters in your community? Do you accept them? Would you ever accept them? How does it feel when other people try to associate you guys with them? Because I got a lot of homies, yo, and I've talked to them all, and they're 1,000% not down with the sickness. But I also understand that there might be some people out there who don't have the same access to be able to openly and freely communicate with people in your community. So I thought it might be nice to make an open forum right here, right now in the comments so that you can let those type of people know exactly where y'all stand on this. One love, y'all. Hey.
All right. Salutes JD Delay. I'm seeing a lot of people saying they have no place. All right. I don't know if that's what he thought was going to happen. A lot of wood chipper claims. I agree. You know, I believe they should be sent to. You know what I'm saying? There's no place for them. Upper room too good for them. All right. Salutes. Salutes Miguel Lopez. He said, can you say hello to my baby girl, Gianna? Salutes, Gianna. I'm letting her know there's monsters out there. I'm glad you're shining a light on this. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Salutes to you, Gianna. I'll tell you directly, Gianna, there's monsters everywhere. And most of the time, people are lying. That's the sad truth. So you got to be very careful who you deal with and who you lie to. Because these kids are lying to their parents. Well, all kind of foul, dirty, death shit is happening on the other side of that. It's dangerous. So salutes to you. You know, stay true to yourself. And, you know, just know these monsters are everywhere. You know, keep watching this channel and we're gonna talk about it. Salutes to you, Miguel. Salutes to you, Gianna. I appreciate you. You stay safe, young lady. Stay safe. Learn how to rear naked choke a motherfucker. It's absolutely necessary. All right. So salutes to JD Delay for that. All right. He put that call out, and then right here he dropped this video, and this is pretty disgusting too. Check this shit out.
So Germany just changed their laws lowering possession and distribution of child corn from a felony to a misdemeanor. And underneath this new law, somebody owning or distributing these types of materials could serve as low as 3 months in jail. Just for a little bit of context, mere possession of these materials in the United States can get you up to a 10-year prison sentence. And this law has a lot of people understandably upset, but not everybody. Pro-Schmeddeschmeil activist groups celebrate as Germany decriminalizes the possession of child explicit images. Can we get some addresses for the headquarters of these activist groups, please? What type of world is it that we live in where there's groups that are actively, publicly supporting these types of behaviors? So Germany just changed their...
Bruh, let's break some of this shit down, all right?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
So Germany minimizing the sentence for child corn. I'll take that one, child corn. All right. So that means you get popped with it out there, you do 3 months. What is that? That's a sad, horrible message to send to citizens, to people with children. All right. We about to get to this right here, Big Blanc. It's a sad, sad, sad story when you're telling your citizens that we value your children, so we devalue your children so much that it's 3 months for having this on their phone. Now, in order for that child corn to exist, somebody's doing that. I wish there was a way to just round them all up. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the motherfuckers that need to get got. All right? We, as a culture, are out here looking for the buyer when you need to be finding the manufacturer and the distributor. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to this. But what a sad message you're sending to your citizens when you tell them we devalue your children to a point where we're not worried about it. 3 months.
Their laws lowering possession and distribution of child corn from a felony to a misdemeanor. And underneath this new law, somebody owning or distributing these types of materials could serve as low as 3 months in jail. Just for a little bit of context, mere possession of these materials in the United States can get you up to a 10-year prison.
So 10 years here, just for having it. 3 months over there for, what did he say? Did he say?
So Germany just changed their laws lowering possession and distribution of child corn from a felony to a misdemeanor. Wow. Underneath this new law, somebody owning or distributing these types of materials could serve as low as 3 months in jail.
As low as 3 months is in jail for distributing and for possessing. That's bananas. All right? And again, just for having it here, 10 years. Which it should be crazy, way crazier.
Just for a little bit of context, mere possession of these materials in the United States can get you up to a 10-year prison sentence. And this law has a lot of people understandably upset, but not everybody. Pro-Schmeddeschmeil activist groups celebrate as Germany...
Just think of this sentence here. Pro-PDF file activist group. That shouldn't exist. That's too much. Advocacy for monsters? Advocating the worst kind of criminal shit you could do? That's crazy. Salutes to you, Miguel. I appreciate you. Carrie says shit is sick. It should be the main ones doing life in prison. As we housing them too much. You know what I'm saying? Put them on a rocket, duct tape them to a rocket ship. Shoot them into the ethos. Salutes Zoraida on the check-in. Saludos Shine in chat. Made it. Salutes. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Got important info going on over here. This is too much. Pro PDF file activist group. That sentence shouldn't exist. That sentence shouldn't even exist a little bit. Shout out Rilo on the check-in. Appreciate you, sir. That shit shouldn't exist right there.
He decriminalizes the possession of child explicit images. Can we get some addresses for the headquarters of these activist groups, please?
Please. Please. Because what are you when you want to defend this? You're this, right?
What type of world is it that we live in where there's groups that are actively, publicly supporting these types of behaviors? So Germany just changed...
He said it right there. What kind of world do we live in? Who the fuck knows at this point? All right? So now here we go. Let's get to the maps of it. All right? Big Blanc, we get into the maps of it. Oh, shit.
So let's talk about evil groups. Let's talk about evil groups that should not exist in the United States. There's NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association. NAMBLA is a Schmeddeschmeil...
The North America Man-Boy Love Association. NAMBLA. Good question, Blanc. Is it at least 3 months in population? That'd be nice. Perfect world. This is ridiculous. We thought that other one, that last one sentence we looked at was too much. This is crazy. Hit the like button, y'all. This is crazy.
Advocacy organization in the United States that works to abolish age of consent laws, criminalizing adult involvement with minors, and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for contact with minors that did not involve what it considers to be coercion. Are you kidding me, bro? She was only 3 years old. Yeah, but she didn't say no. We also have war. Women against registry. You know what type...
Women against registry. How could you? Because you got a chomo cousin, husband, friend, brother, lover. What? How could you? How could you turn your back on these babies?
Type of registry they are. They say that the registry is punishment. Well, no.
Yo, make sure y'all follow JD Delay if you give a shit about this subject. He's one of those YouTubers that I enjoy. I enjoy him. I enjoy a couple of other ones that I'm gonna put on blast on this channel because I think that they're they're doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it the right way. and I appreciate it. Women against registry. That's bananas. Fighting the destruction of families.
Oh, it also allows us to track predators to try to keep kids and women like you safe. There's a war going on against people who want to take children's innocence for their own awful gratifications. This is a front lines thing. So when people ask me why I make so many videos,
You see his hat? Make PDF files afraid again. Mountain Dew themed pew pew all PDF files shirt.
yelling about this, that's why. Let's talk about evil groups that should not exist in the United States. There's NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association. NAMBLA is a Schmeta-Schmile advocacy organization in the United States that works to abolish age of consent laws, criminalizing adult involvement with minors, and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for contact with minors that did not involve what it considers to be coercion. Are you kidding me, bro? She was only 3 years old. Yeah, but she didn't say no. We also have WAR, Women Against Registry. You know what type of registry they are. They say that the registry is punishment. Well, no It also allows us to track predators to try to keep kids and women like you safe. There's a war going on against people who want to take children's innocence for their own awful gratifications. This is a front lines thing. So when people ask me why I make so many videos yelling about this, that's why.
Easy. Rilo said we must act. Here's the thing. This thing goes from the top to the bottom. To the nothing on the street, to the elite, all in the same gumbo, doing the same shit. All of them. Not all of them, but I'm saying. They're all over, every level. All right. Shout out to Osvaldo Seshayo. It's crazy how nothing really happens to chomos. I remember when I went to my bond hearing in federal court, I got denied for the amount of work I was selling, and they gave a chomo bond. It's mind-blowing. The rights that these dudes have, these people have, which is why I'm okay with seeing them humiliated on television. I'm okay with them being doxxed and put out there because you are a predator, all right? You are lurking. Put that shit out there. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is, right? I just don't want one of these hunters, one of these chomo hunters that do it for social media as well to, ever give them a W. They can't get no W's. They can't catch a wind off the hunt, or a win off the hunt. You know what I'm saying? Big Blanc said it's wild. Indeed it is, but it's bottom to top, man. So that's the whole MAPS thing. It's like MAPS is another organization like that NAMFLA and that war shit. Ridiculous. We need to get a real deal show which starts from the beginning to the end. They just need to catch these dudes, prosecute these dudes, and I don't know, man. Something got to happen, but I don't know if I can allow them human rights in my own mind. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they strip their victims of all their rights, every human right that they have. The only ones that get busted are the poor ones, facts. And every now and then, they'll throw you a bone. They'll throw you somebody that has it coming. A Weinstein, or this one, or that one, a Diddy. So boom, that's the JD Delay. Just make sure y'all go follow him. JD Delay 5150. His tag is in the title of this live. Salutes to him. I think he's doing a good thing. He's giving out good information, and I think
so. Germany let's talk.
You need to pass this information on to your people and let them know that this is out there. This is happening. This is real. Remember something, people. This is not the days where you could. Back in the day, people told us things and we didn't want to hear that shit, but they couldn't show us. Today, you got YouTube. You got all of these videos at your disposal to show these children exactly what's happening. All right? The worst example of this, so that they know to keep their hand away from fucking fire. All right? If nobody hears me with that, I don't get it, but that's what I'm saying. So, JD also has a friend who many of you have probably seen through memes and on the internet, Facebook, this, that, the other. And he's the Alaskan Avenger. And I've been wanting to talk about him on this channel for a while. And I think right now is the time to do it. So I'm going to play this video right here. And we're going to get through it. I'm going to stop this one least amount possible. I'll talk over when I have breaks in it. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. Hundreds up to y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I think you're going to dig this story. If you don't know this story, I think you're going to dig this story. All right? Here we go.
At his brother during his sentencing is Jason. The man you see smiling at his brother during his sentencing is Jason Vukovich. He earned himself the name the Alaskan Avenger when he began hunting down and attacking men convicted of abusing minors. And soon, you'll hear the story directly from him in an exclusive interview.
911. Police, ambulance?
Yes, some guy just broke in with a hammer.
He broke into your house?
Yes, I've never seen him before.
When a string of break-ins and assaults began terrifying the residents of Anchorage, Alaska, the police were desperate to find out who was responsible.
Hold on, I gotta stop it. All right? Salutes to all my people in Anchorage, Alaska. I've been to Anchorage, Alaska. A lot of good people there. Salutes to you, Robinson. I see you. Salutes to all of y'all, man. I appreciate you guys.
As the police investigated, break-ins and assaults began terrifying the residents of Anchorage, Alaska. The police were desperate to find out who was responsible. As the police investigated, they soon realized that the 3 break-in victims all shared a disturbing background that would bust the case wide open. As Alaska became the center of a media storm, the police were left trying to puzzle out the perpetrator's motive. Was he a vigilante who believed he could take justice into his own hands? Or were these violent crimes all part of a revenge spree? On June 24th, 2016, Charles Albee was enjoying a peaceful morning in his home when he heard a knock at his door. Not suspecting anything dangerous could be on the other side, Charles opened it to find a tall man with dark shoulder-length hair and a black leather jacket staring down at him. The man forced his way into Charles' home and ordered him to sit on his bed. Charles followed the man's orders, but still, that didn't stop him from facing the man's wrath. The intruder slapped Charles around a few times and detailed how he was able to find Charles's address. He then stole a few items from Charles's home and fled. As soon as the intruder was gone, Charles called the police and told them everything he could remember about the man, including the fact that he appeared to be holding a notebook with a list of names in it. He also told them something about himself, which would soon be a key piece of evidence for the police. Charles Albee was convicted in 2003 of second-degree abuse of a minor, and the intruder had found his address through an offender registry. 3 days later, the police received a late-night call from a man named Andres Barbosa. According to Andres, he had been sleeping in his home when frantic knocking on his door woke him up at 4 in the morning. When he opened
It's a rude awakening, boy. Hammer time.
door, he was greeted by a tall man in a black leather jacket, as well as 2 women.
Punisher.
The group pushed their way into Andres' home and ordered him to sit in a chair. Following their instructions, Andres sat and suddenly one of the women pulled out her phone and began recording.
Women.
The intruder then punched Andres several times before threatening to, quote, bash in his dome with a hammer. The man then berated him and stated that he was here to collect what Andres owed.
Okay.
With the women's help, the man stole several things from Andres' home, including the man's truck, before the group fled the scene. While police were already pretty certain that this attack was related to Charles's break-in 2 days prior, there were enough differences that there was a possibility it could be someone else. For instance, the 2 women involved in Andres' assault had not been reported at the previous break-in. Additionally, the hammer used by the perpetrator in Andres' assault wasn't present in the assault against Charles. However, once officers learned that Andres Barbosa was a child abuser who was placed on the registry in 2014 after being caught with inappropriate photos of minors, they knew the 2 cases were connected. With this information, the police were beginning to see a pattern forming. Was this man going after child abusers? Was he just a man who had decided that the child abuser registry was an easy way to find potential break-ins? Or was there more to his motive? Detectives wouldn't have to wait long to find out, as 2 days later, another break-in was reported. However, this one had escalated much further than the others. On June 29th, police responded to a 911 call of another break-in, this time one that had ended in violent bloodshed. After arriving and rushing the man, Wesley Demarest, to the hospital, they were able to interview him and get an idea of what had taken place that night.
Start from the beginning and tell me what happened tonight.
Well, I was asleep. My roommate pounded on my door or something.
Justice pounded on your door. Redemption.
Woke up and he said somebody's trying to break in. So I got out of bed, and by the time I got to my door, there was some guy standing there with a hammer.
See, now here's the problem with all this. This guy goes. There's a reason we got laws, yo. You know what I'm saying? This guy goes. He gets the roommate instead of the other guy. Then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, the mission went to hell.
The guy told my...
Again, birds of a feather, right? Who knows?
My roommate just to go sit down somewhere, didn't do anything.
Okay.
So
he targeted him. He targeted him specifically.
The guy told my roommate just to go sit down somewhere, didn't do anything.
YouTube, play nice.
Then he started yelling at me about...
Wow. It's like they heard me.
Offender. It was 2006. I had a conviction. I had attempted something or other with my step-granddaughter.
Okay.
And he said that he was avenging something. And he kept swinging.
He was avenging that, you pig. That's what he was avenging.
The hammer back and forth. Told me to get down on my knees, which I didn't. Then he told me to lay down on my bed, which I didn't. And then he slapped me a couple of times, or I tried to hit him in the throat a couple of times. Tried to push him. Then he told me to get down on my knees. So I think then he hit me with the hammer on the side of my face.
Wesley Demarest is a registered child abuser who only served 9 months in jail for attempting to assault his kindergarten-aged granddaughter. It wouldn't take long for them to find the man responsible for the attack. The 911 call from Wesley's roommate had mentioned that the intruder left the house in a car shortly before the police arrived. So there was a good chance the man was still in the area.
This guy's leaving now. He's getting in his car now.
What kind of car?
It's a small car.
Do you feel safe going to check on your roommate, make sure he's okay?
I wonder what's the girls' connection in this, because they said there was 2 girls with them on the second assault.
Yeah, I'm going to go there now. Oh, man, he's really bleeding. We need an ambulance,
He's
too.
bleeding?
Yes.
Okay, where's he bleeding from?
He's bleeding from his head.
After searching through nearby roads, the police pulled over a suspicious Honda Civic not far from the victim's home. An officer approached the vehicle and introduced himself to the driver, a man by the name of Jason Vukovic. To the officer's surprise, Jason quickly and freely admitted to being the man who broke into Wesley's home. Realizing that they'd finally found their intruder, the officer began recording a preliminary interview with Jason. The officer's roadside interview with Jason started out fairly standard, with the officer reading Jason his Miranda rights and questioning him about what exactly went on at Wesley's house. When Jason is reluctant to talk about the actual attack with Wesley, despite admitting to being the perpetrator, the officer changes tactics and begins questioning Jason on how he discovered Wesley in the first place.
I believe it is February 2000.
So you just found the address, saw this guy, you decided to go over to his house?
Absolutely not.
Okay, how did you decide to go over here?
Well, I went to the bistro first.
Right.
That's where you work? And I talked to the executive chef, because I absolutely will not get anything over, period. Take any actions at all unless I go see her first.
And what's her name?
Her name is Cherie. And I've been working for this family for 40 years.
Oh, 40 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So I guess that's a mentor or something?
She has no relationship. Cherie doesn't know these people, period, does she?
I can't speak on anything that she does or doesn't know. I don't want to say something like that. What I do know is this. I will never take any action unless I go see my handler.
Okay.
Wait, if he's calling his mentors or his boss the handler, he's saying that he can't attest to anything they know or don't know, but he don't make a move without his handlers knowing first. So he's putting them out there.
The answer from Jason immediately gives the officer some crucial insight into his psyche. It appears Jason is displaying delusions of grandeur by seeing Cherie as his CIA handler, which is a common symptom of bipolar disorder. While it is fully possible that Jason is just saying these things to confuse or deceive the officer, it seems much more likely that Jason has convinced himself Cherie is a handler, sending him out on righteous missions. Those with bipolar disorders also suffer through phases of mania, where they may experience extreme happiness, anger, poor judgment, and paranoia. It's possible that Jason was in the throes of a manic phase when he decided to attack his 3 victims. After talking to the officer about Cherie, Jason was comfortable enough to tell them how he broke into Wesley's house with a hammer and got into an altercation with him.
How'd you get into the guy's house? What's the deal with the hammer?
Well, that's how I got his house.
You broke your window, pried the door open? Okay, and then you go talk to the gentleman?
I attempted to, yeah.
Okay. What happened? Did you assault him?
He started freaking out, going wild. My intention tonight was to sit him down and remind him his family, nothing like this is what's going to happen. I was giving him some open-hand slaps because that's typically an appropriate way.
So open-hand slaps?
To notify someone that what they're doing is extremely inappropriate.
Okay, how many of those?
7.
7 of them?
He had the cadence in his head. He played that shit back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. And then what happened? Did you assault him with a hammer at all?
No, he started attacking.
Started attacking you?
Correct.
Was he attacking you with his fist? Or?
Oh, yeah, he's kind of a big guy. He's pretty big guy. I didn't realize he was like 6'6" and kind of a monster. So let me tell you once again, courage is acting in spite of it.
Sure, we got that.
So he attacked me, and I'm really not much of a fighter, to be honest with you, seriously.
While Jason's account of events did slightly contradict that of both Wesley and his roommate, this interview made it clear to police that Jason was the intruder. Not only that, but his comments made them confident in the fact that he had also been responsible for the other 2 break-ins as well. Despite Jason being the only one involved with this break-in, he wasn't actually alone in the car. In the passenger seat was a woman named Elisa Geisler, whom police suspected was potentially one of the women involved in the break-in and assault of Andres Barbosa. Both Jason and Elisa were brought into custody for further questioning, as officers hoped that these 2 could shed more light on the many questions surrounding the case. First and foremost, why had Jason started hunting down offenders? Elisa was the first one to be interviewed at the police station. Detective Landis, the main investigator conducting the interrogation, walks into the interrogation room, only to find Elisa asleep in her chair. He tries to begin the interrogation after waking Elisa up. However, she's crashing from a high on methamphetamines and is struggling to stay awake. It's slightly questionable that officers would choose to interview Elisa in this state, as her inebriated state would affect both her judgment and her memory. Additionally, Elisa's mental state hinders her ability to make decisions, including consenting to the police interrogation. Despite this, officers are able to get a few key pieces of information out of her.
Is there a hammer in the car?
Oh, yeah, there is.
What?
So if I want to get the hammer, where do I need to look in the car to find it?
I think it's just right there in the front seat.
Front seat? Okay.
Given the state Wesley was found in.
What? Yo, that's not... She's not in a position to attest to anything.
It's likely that this hammer would be covered in blood. If the police were able to recover it from Jason's car, it could serve as damning DNA evidence against him. Alongside this information, Elisa is also able to nudge detectives closer towards Jason's motive.
Does Jason have a particular dislike for ex-offenders? Has he ever talked to you about that?
I don't know, most of them, they've been to jail. I have a special dislike for them, yes. I would say yes.
Unfortunately, before the detectives can get any more useful information out of Elisa, she passes out once more. After letting Elisa sleep for a few minutes, they try to interrogate her again. At first, it seems that she's just giving them more of the same information, until she mentions something interesting.
What was the conversation that Lucky had with you when he came out of the house? Did he say anything about hurting somebody or doing what was righteous?
Yeah, something like that, probably.
Probably? Do you remember what it was?
Doing the work of the righteous.
It seems like here the detectives are attempting to use words that the other witnesses used in order to spark Elisa's memory and try to engage her. While this would normally be frowned upon in interviews, Elisa is extremely sedated and unlikely to provide any helpful information on her own. It might have been beneficial for the officers to let her sleep it off for longer and try to talk to her more openly when she was coherent, but they may have been worried that she wouldn't cooperate when she sobered up. The only person who could confirm or deny this for the police would be Jason himself, and it was finally time to interview him.
And I'm sure he's not
in
gonna
this
hold
interrogation,
back.
Detective Anderson takes over while Detective Landis sits in. Unlike most people brought in on assault and robbery charges, Jason is overwhelmingly friendly towards the detectives and is happy to chat their ears off. Despite his charming and polite demeanor,
Told you, he probably ain't gonna need too much pushing. He ready to tell the story. It's like, hey man, it had to go down how it went down. This is why.
Jason avoids actually answering many of the detectives'
let's
questions,
see. Maybe not.
instead
Okay.
going into
Maybe I'm wrong. He's gonna get into the philosophy of it, but again, they don't see his vision. You know what I'm saying?
detail about his philosophies on life.
I mow the lawn with that and pull weeds and change light bulbs. And the reason why is because I'm attempting to demonstrate humility.
Detective Anderson stays calm and friendly towards Jason as he rants and slowly prods at him until Jason gives the detectives some useful information. By keeping his cool and acting like Jason's friend, the detective is able to build up a rapport with Jason and earn his trust. This tactic works, and Jason eventually gives the detective some information they can work with.
I'm just trying to get a sense of what's been going on.
I guess without getting into a whole bunch of unnecessary specifics, I can tell you that what's been going on is hard work. And hard work out of concern for kids.
Jason makes it clear to the detectives that everything he's done has been out of concern for children, and he even gives them extra insight on how he views his crimes against offenders.
People who have committed crimes against children have been convicted in a court of law, and you want to see that these people get what you believe they deserve. Is that not correct, or is that correct?
Let me think. Yeah. Be careful how I respond.
Okay.
This is what I would like to say. Do I think taking retributive action on people that have done something to kids, wanton or otherwise, is what I want? I have to say, not specifically, no. It's not my desire to go running willy-nilly through this life, doing something like that.
Maybe what you want isn't the right phrase. Maybe it's...
I gotta go back. I need to understand what he just said thoroughly.
It's not my desire. Wanton, retributive action, I like to say. Do I think taking retributive action on people that have done something to kids, wanton or otherwise, is what I want? I have to say, not specifically, no. It's not my desire to go running willy-nilly through this life, doing something like that.
Maybe what you want isn't the right phrase. Maybe it's what you feel you are required to do, or that it's the right thing to do.
Those are both extremely accurate statements.
So even though you may not particularly want to do it, it's kind of a sense of duty.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. It's kind of the way I say it is I wouldn't expect to have privilege or extra freedom in this life without also being willing to participate in the entire practice, not just okay, cool, I can have all the good stuff but none of the work.
Yeah. Well, I think when you use the term work, that's probably what I'm seeing is it's out of a sense of duty. It's actual work. It's not something you enjoy to do, but it's something you're required to do or you feel obligated to do.
That is without any exception the case. And I can tell you that internally, I am in no way, shape, or form a violent or dangerous person. I certainly have no assaults on my record. I would not seek to I would say I would derive no joy from a person suffering anywhere. You know?
Jason's urge to protect children is certainly admirable, but he could just...
That was very concise. As crazy as it may sound, he was pretty concise with what he had to say. You know, a sense of duty.
Be using that as a convenient excuse to enact violence on others. The police have to determine how much of this is true in order to fully understand Jason's motive.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
Unfortunately for the detectives, Jason's refusal to answer most questions in a straightforward manner makes it hard for them to get any concrete details out of him, forcing them to look elsewhere for information.
Hello? Hey, this is Jim Anderson with APD. I got word from you at the DA's office that you had some info about Vukovic and what he was doing last time he was locked up.
He was talking to others about where they would go around and find guys that were convicted of child molestation or whatever, and he would tell them that they would provide them protection, but that they were keeping an eye on them, and that they knew who they were, and was trying to recruit other guys to join him in doing that.
It wasn't hard for Detective Anderson to acquire Jason's rather extensive rap sheet, and it became evident that Jason had a history of trying to deal with offenders. Now that there was more than enough evidence to prove Jason was responsible for the break-ins and assaults, it was just a matter of time until his trial and sentencing. While sitting in jail, Jason came up with a plea deal that would not only shock the press and the police, but would also reveal to the world the true reason he went after these offenders. On September 16, 2016, several months after his initial arrest, Jason sent a letter to the Anchorage Daily News claiming that he would be willing to serve the combined sentencing of not only his 3 victims, but also the sentence given to Jason's stepfather, the man who assaulted him as a child.
Woo-wee. What a fucking statement. Whoever came up with that, if it was him, whatever, that brilliant. What a statement. What a fucking statement. My sentence should be no longer than those served by my victims and my abuser. That says it all right there. He was ready to face that time. Right? He was ready to face that time. That is a deal and a half right there. Salutes 298 Sosa on the check-in. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Wow.
But never served time for the crime. With the publishing of this letter, it became clear to the world that Jason wasn't just attacking offenders in an attempt
298 said, Jason a real one. Jason a real one, boy. You on that shit.
to keep the local child, but never served time for the crop father, the man's 3 victims, but also the sentence given to Jason's stepfather, the man who assaulted him as a child, but never served time for the crime. With the publishing of this letter, it became clear to the world that Jason wasn't just attacking offenders in an
This man who adopted me began using the late night prayer session to blank him.
attempt to keep the local children safe. Jason wasn't just attacking offenders in an attempt to keep the local children safe. He was someone who had gone through the same pain and confusion that these offenders' victims had gone through. In his mind, he was going to do whatever he could to make sure that none of the men he could find would ever hurt a child like that again. The question was, is this vigilante justice or revenge?
Call it what the fuck
Well, we reached out to Jason, and he recounted that final incident that resulted in his arrest.
I started going places and knocking on doors, and, for the most part, delivering a pretty stern sermon and giving these guys a message of sitting them down in a chair, instilling through fear that, hey, there's people around here that care about these kids. Like, I never wore a mask. I never brought a gun. I never, this was not like some sort of murderous mission by any means. The last one I went to this guy's house, and I was knocking on all the windows and doors for probably 45 minutes. His lights were on, telling him to come outside. I needed to talk to him, and I knew he was awake. Obviously, he didn't want to come out and see me. So I grabbed a hammer out of a tool bag in the back of my car, and I used it to smash out the side light of his window and then climbed inside. He was a relatively wealthy person with his home had been converted, unbeknownst to me, to some sort of a bed and breakfast that was on a lake. And so a guy and a lady were coming out of one of the bedroom doors, and I knew they weren't him because I'd seen his picture. So I told him, "Get back in the bedroom. This doesn't have anything to do with you." And then I went into the master bedroom, and
he was on his Dexter shit. He wasn't just picking at random. He was on some, I seen dude's picture, I'm going to get the dude.
Get in there, and this guy is probably, I don't know, 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds. This is a big guy.
Shit.
And I told him to sit down on the bed, and he didn't want to, and he started pushing on me a little bit, and then he started punching me in the face. Then I got angry, and I realized I had that hammer in the bag on the floor in between us, and so I just squatted down and picked it up, and I hit him one time, and then in the course of the struggle, I hit him 2 more times. I told him, you know, you can consider me an avenging angel for the children you're missing. And anyway, I'm assuming that the couple that I told to get back in the bedroom called the police, because by the time that whole physical altercation was over, I got back in the car, and the police were already coming in, and they stopped the car. And police were patting me on the back, asking me, "Man, did you get that motherfucker? Did you get him good?" Were shaking my hand, all this sort of stuff. I was in shock. Ambulance is going by. I'm thinking to myself, you know.
And if you listen to him talking to that cop's laughing with him when he says that. I didn't realize the guy was 6'3" and a monster, and the cop's laughing with him and shit.
I've probably just killed this person, and the rest of my life is gone. I am not a violent person, and I don't take joy in any sort of violent confrontations. I never have been, never will be. However, when you're regressed to the state of a child and you realize this time I'm going to win against this sort of person, there's some sort of a strange, you know, it's just sort of a strange feeling in that moment that it needs to happen, or it needed to happen. And that's the best way I can explain it.
In a recent interview conducted with the Unforbidden Truth
podcast, it just needed to happen. It just needed to happen.
Jason recounted his childhood and how it led him down this path of a violent crime spree.
What's up? Y'all still with me? Salutes to y'all. Hunters up, man. Shout out Jason Vukovic right now. All right?
I have no memories whatsoever of about 12 years old on back. So I suppose, and I think that's a trauma-related response.
Jason's memories began with the abuse from his stepfather, Larry Lee Fulton. Jason and his brother Joel were both subject to abuse at Larry's hands, with the monster creating a custom 2x4 with a 2-handed grip to beat the backs of his stepson's legs. Not only did the 2 young boys have to grapple with beating so brutal they struggled to stand, but their stepfather soon began assaulting them during late-night prayer sessions.
My brother and I shared a room where he would come in and, you know, try to touch our genitals and all types of things like that. And again, as young kids, it's extremely difficult to make sense of what's happening to you.
While struggling to deal with the mental turmoil caused by his stepfather's actions, Jason turned to his mother for help.
Neither one of us had the courage to say anything, so I told Joel, that's my brother, I'm going to tell her, I'm going to tell Mom what he's doing. So I told her, and she absolutely didn't believe a word.
I was just about to ask y'all, what do you think? Did she betray his trust by not believing him? Why would a child lie about that?
We said, and made me sit there on a kitchen stool until he came home from work, and had him march in the kitchen, and she did the standard, you know, tell him what you told me, tell him what you told me. Made me recite the abuse to him, which he basically was very dismissive about, and mumbled something about being curious about whether we were maturing or, you know, something like that.
Jason and Joel were forced to endure the coming years with no hope of help from any adult in their lives. Eventually, it got to be too much for Joel, and he ran away from home, leaving Jason to face the full wrath of their stepfather. Joel was eventually found by the cops and was arrested for being a runaway. However, Joel made the brave decision to tell the cops why he ran away. An investigation into Larry Fulton was started, and he was eventually found guilty on charges of second-degree abuse of a minor. In the grand scheme of things, this charge was meaningless. Instead of sending Larry to prison or removing Joel and Jason from his abusive care, the state of Alaska suspended the 3 years of prison Larry was sentenced to as a part of his plea deal and sent him right back home to torment his children more. Not only did Joel face physical punishment from his stepfather for going to the police, but he claims he was also mocked and ridiculed by other members of his family for his confession.
It's crazy.
Joel and Jason were pulled from school immediately after Larry's trial.
Again,
and the family moved.
Set up for failure early. You know what I'm saying? Set up for failure. Everybody that was supposed to be the last line of defense failed. Garbage, trash, worth nothing. Left nothing but a blemish. No good came of it except for, you know, what Jason made of his life afterwards.
Moved to a town where Larry's abuse would be less known. Looking for any way to get out of the house, Jason began taking odd jobs fishing, hunting, or doing commercial work. Through these jobs, he was able to save up some money, and at the age of 16, Jason snuck out his bedroom window and ran away like his brother had done 3 years prior.
Part of the process of leaving home, my parents found out I had been sneaking out, so I came home from one of those nights, and my clothing was in trash bags on the front porch, and all of the windows and doors were locked, and they had kept my driver's license and my social security card, all my identifying papers.
Jason was able to afford a plane ride to Spokane, Washington with what money he had left, but with no ID, he was unable to get paid by any employers. Soon his money started to run out, and Jason was forced to turn to petty theft and forged checks to afford food. 5 months after starting his criminal career, the law finally caught up with Jason and he did time in juvenile hall. Shortly after his release, he would be arrested and brought back for similar crimes, a cycle that would continue for much of Jason's life. Jason commented on this part of his life in the letter saying, "Being a thief and a liar fit nicely with my lack of self-worth, my silent understanding that I was worthless, a throwaway. The foundations laid in my youth never went away. They simply remained hidden, and everything I chose to do was built on those thoughts and feelings from the past. I'd started down a long, winding path of deception and self-abuse."
Understand something. This is a man that can articulate to himself how he feels about the situation and how it's affecting him, right? These other kids, like this 11-year-old Sicario that we saw yesterday or the day before, you know, these kids don't have this wherewithal. They have not come to this conclusion yet. You know what I'm saying? They're just lost in the sauce, you know? All right? Salutes Rilo. He said, dude needs a medal. Dorada said, good for him. This man felt privileged. I'm sure that triggered him. Wow, 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 indeed. 298 said, I ain't gonna lie, Shy. This shit's hard to listen to, G. It be like that. That's real life. That's real life, man. And a lot of people just wear blinders to it, and as much as it hurts, you gotta know where it comes from, what triggers it, what to look for, what to see. You gotta know.
¿Usted está buscando una residencia permanente para los Estados Unidos y es profesional?
By the time he was 20 years old, Jason had spent over half of his adult life behind bars.
That's the right word. I say, yeah, he's extremely well-spoken and self-aware. He is self-aware at this point. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he can dig deep and figure things out for himself. He understands it. These throwaways that are throwaways don't know that they're throwaways. He was completely self-aware of the throwaway nature of his existence. Why? Because he had been failed from the beginning, just like that other kid did. You know? This whole thing's reminding me of the movie Sleepers. I don't remember Sleepers. I need to do that again. Sounds mad familiar. I said 298 so imagine what it felt like to have to live through. The least we could do is be educated. Facts. Zoraya said that drives me insane when women do that to their kids. Make them confront a male about any situation. Like if anything good is gonna come out of it for the child. Like if anything's good is gonna come out of it for the child, other than cause trauma. their mother is an abuser as well. You know what I'm saying? And she magnetates, or she she draws the same kind of people to her, abusers. And who suffers? The kids suffer. And then later on, we blame them for the shit that they do. It's like, oh, they knew right from wrong. But did they? They tried to do right. He went and told his mama. What did she do? She failed him. She was the last line of defense. That was her opportunity to rescue him. That was an event that was going to change everything in all of their lives. It never happened. Why? Because she didn't believe her child.
The time not spent in prison was occupied by drugs and dead-end jobs. At 30 years old, Jason decided a change of scenery might be what he needed to bring his life in order, and he soon found himself back in his home state of Alaska. For a while, it seemed like life was improving, but that wouldn't last. Jason was finding joy in the little things again, and was able to support himself through a legitimate job. Unfortunately, Jason lost the job a few months later and once again found himself resorting to crime. This would lead to a 6-year prison sentence, shortly followed by another 3-year stint in prison when Jason was caught violating his parole. After being released in the summer of 2016, Jason was once again aiming to live a humble and simple life. But those plans changed when he began to hear rumors of men in his community who were taking advantage of children. According to Jason, hearing these rumors made him think back to his own horrific childhood, and he felt the overwhelming urge to take matters into his own hands and hunt down the offenders in his area. These actions inevitably led to Jason being caught.
Jason was on that shit. Salute Big June on the check-in side. What's up, brother? I said mine's in full. And us to you, sir. Salute to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, sir. Ivy said, I'd be curious to hear a sample of him speaking from before and after years of prison. Do you know how long he had been in for this recording, or was it the initial interview? Sorry, I missed the grip. I don't understand the question. I'd be curious to hear a sample of him speaking from before and after years of prison. Well, you'll be hearing from him soon. We'll get to that. Do you know how long he had been in for this recording, or was it the initial interview? Yeah, what you heard here was from earlier. No, and then some of it was from a podcast, but through the phone.
He was eventually brought to the exact same courthouse his monstrous stepfather.
Yeah, shout out Big June. He said, let's tap that like button, people. We need them numbers up. It's free, by the way.
Father was tried, despite many lauding Jason's own hands and hunt down the offenders in his area. These actions inevitably led to Jason being caught. He was eventually brought to the exact same courthouse his monstrous stepfather was tried, despite many lauding Jason and
the irony, that his stepfather's filthy ass was in that same courtroom.
Calling his actions
Salute Chucky Chingong on the check-in. Appreciate you, brother.
Heroic. He ended his letter by discouraging copycat behavior, stating, "If you have already lost your youth like me due to a child abuser, please do not throw away your present and your future by committing acts of violence." While it can be tempting to explain away Jason's violent actions because he was abused, it's important to remember that many abuse victims don't go on to engage in criminal behavior. However, being abused or neglected as a child can increase the likelihood of arrest as a juvenile by 59%, as an adult by 28%, and for a violent crime by 30%. Many victims of abuse develop revenge fantasies where they imagine themselves standing up to their abuser and fighting back. In Jason's case, these fantasies may have made him feel all-powerful or divinely righteous to the point that he felt he was capable of making these revenge fantasies a reality by hunting down local offenders. Not only was Jason able to get symbolic revenge against the man who hurt him, but he was also able to help other children in the process by doing for them what he wished someone would have done for him. While Jason may have been able to gain some catharsis for his trauma through this revenge, he paid the ultimate price for it. In the days leading up to his official sentencing, Jason wrote another letter to the Anchorage Daily News, this time detailing his life story, explaining how he found himself in this situation and discouraging other victims of abuse from following in his steps. He wrote, To those who understand how it feels to live through abuse and carry it with you, let me share my story in an effort to prevent its repetition.
These are 3 unique Manscaped trimmers, all designed for different parts of the body. The Lawnmower 4.0 is perfect.
Much of the public was on Jason's side, and they rallied for him to be given a light sentencing. In the end, Jason was given a plea deal that would reduce his charges. He recounted how officials reacted to his plea deal.
I wrote them an offer through the newspaper to the prosecutor's office, and I told them I will plead guilty to any combination of charges you wish, anything you want, with the following caveat. My sentence is to equal in length what each file served in prison for harming a child. So the guy that his own daughter received 2 years and change. I'll serve his 2 years and change. The guy that was convicted
A guy that raped his own daughter, 2 years and change. What the fuck planet do I live on? What planet do I fucking live on? The guy that was convicted of MOing his 10-month-old.
I think his 10-month-old granddaughter got 3 years in prison. I'll serve his 3 years. So now we're
what planet am I living on?
At 5 years, 5.5 years. The child photographer did 2 years or did a year in a program or something. So I'll do his, and I told them I'll even serve the 3 years in prison that you suspended for the monster that made me. So I'll do 9 years, 6 months, run that right now. I'll sign. I'll plead to whatever you want.
That is the gangsterest plea deal move I've ever seen in my life, boy. What? He made them have to look at what they do. Who knows if they gave a shit or not, but he made them look at what they do. You know? Salute Rilo. Said, hope everybody's blessed. He said he's doing God's work. Sick bastards. Bruh, that plea deal is some gangster shit right there.
And of course, they summarily laughed at
yeah, laugh
for the
at it all
monster
you
that
want.
made me.
Here's what it is. They missed the point. They lost on that one.
3 years in prison that you suspended for the monster that made me. So I'll do 9 years, 6 months, run that right now. I'll sign. I'll plead to whatever you want. And of course, they summarily laughed that offer out of the courtroom and said, this is not how we conduct business in the state of Alaska.
He was eventually sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Shit.
Not only was the public...
25 years didn't murk nobody. Because from my understanding, they all lived. 25 years didn't murk nobody. I be saying you live on a planet where that guy got 2 years for that, and at the same time, there's thousands of people in jail for years for less than a stack worth of rugs. And Buddy, they gave Buddy 25 years. This is the fucking planet we live on. And people want to tell me about government and this, that, and the other. Stop it. Stop it. Wow. He ain't murked nobody. He ain't got no bodies. He got no bodies. Ivy said also you live on a planet where we still let the Catholic Church run elementary schools. Bananas. Bananas. Also said facts. 25 years. They gave this guy no bodies. They all lived, right? From my understanding.
Opinion of Jason incredibly high, but after being sent to prison, Jason discovered that many of the guards and fellow prisoners also considered Jason a hero, especially when his sentence was 3 times longer than the combined sentences
I
of
put
the
Jason on a t-shirt. Huh? What?
men Jason assaulted. While being processed into prison, it was discovered that Jason was suffering from PTSD, which he believes was a factor in his crimes. Research shows an association between being the victim of trauma, especially chronic victimization, and the later perpetration of a crime. After serving the first 4 years of his sentence, he attempted to appeal, stating that his PTSD...
They try to diagnose him with some shit?
Crimes.
Okay.
Research shows an association between being the victim of trauma, especially chronic victimization, and the later perpetration of a crime.
Okay.
After serving the first 4 years of his sentence, he attempted to appeal, stating that his PTSD should have been taken into account during the sentencing process. However, this appeal was denied, and his sister Angelina has taken to social media to advocate for her brother's freedom. She's also managed to gather over 27,000 signatures on a Change.org petition, calling for Jason's release. Speaking to Jason from prison, he wanted to make one thing clear.
It's also important for people to know that never at any time was it me that went and sought out any sort of notoriety for this.
Since being in prison, he's reflected a lot not only on his own life, but that of some of the people he's...
But you deserve some notoriety on this, Papas. You deserve that shit, all right? Oso said need to put some money on his books. Dante said Ish all the way effed up. Big Blanc said gotta send him some cantina. Salutes Velez on the check-in. Appreciate you. Wow. Buddy is wild, and he made it clear. In the whole plea deal, in the whole letter, he made it clear, don't be copycats, don't get in trouble over this, that, the other. Made this clear, that clear, and then said, and I ain't look for no promotion, I ain't look for no no fanfare, no pomp and circumstance. I did what I did as a duty. Salute fucking Jason Vukovic.
Is met behind bars.
In retrospect, after
Out of some being in prison,
that went and sought out any sort of notoriety for this.
Since being in prison, he's reflected a lot not only on his own life, but that of some of the people he's met behind bars.
In retrospect, after being educated while being in here, you realize that childhood trauma is rocket fuel for everything destructive that a person has in their life. And no one tells you this, and no one comes along and gives you any pointers or indications or anything. You get jail sentences, and people tell you you're bad and horrible. And for me, I was a thief and a liar for many years of my life. You never stop to think why. I started getting letters from people all over the world, and contrary to what you might think, these weren't letters with high praise and accolades and pats on the back and things like that. Typically, these letters were 2 or 3 or 4 page descriptions of people's pain and the suffering and the things they went through when they were a kid. As I started realizing I wasn't alone. While I've been in prison, I have done informal surveys, and I'm telling you, the percentage is so high. Guys that end up leading a life of crime or drug addiction or demonstrate criminal behavior, it is so high, like probably 70 or 80% of these guys suffered childhood trauma or abuse. In my free time, I do a lot of...
Which is, again, the reason I said earlier, the world's attention should be on protecting the children. Because look what this trauma is creating. And the trauma is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. You know?
Writing. It was really cool. It was just actually finished a book with Professor Joshua Long at UMass in Boston. We co-wrote a book together called Legacy of Retribution. There's a guy named that runs a hardcore recovery coaching business, and he's offered me a job as a recovery coach, a trauma and addiction recovery coach, which is great.
I'm going to fill you in on who that is that he just spoke of that says that they got a job for him when he comes home.
A book together called Legacy of Retribution.
They redacted his name here, and it might be somebody else at this point. They didn't announce it at this point, but
that runs a hardcore recovery coaching business, and he's offered me a job as a recovery coach.
That's JD DeLay, y'all, that got him the job and you know, all of that good stuff waiting for him.
I'm an addiction recovery coach, which is great. Probably devote the meaningful portion of the rest of my life to doing some sort of lasting legislative pursuit to change some of the laws pertaining to child abuse. Certainly in my state, maybe nationwide, would like to create an SOS app that allows kids to self-report abuse if they're suffering in the household. And that to me seems like a huge missing component in our society. And if that isn't a glaring, issue, I don't know what is, and people need to pay attention to that. The justice system needs to be realigned.
Jason was granted parole at his hearing on April 10, 2023. However, in a seemingly unprecedented move, his actual release date was set for April 11, 2028. Our most recent communication from Jason came in the form of a message.
Ain't that some bullshit? Think about that bullshit right there. Granted parole, right? Effective 2028. What kind of monkey ball ass shit is that? Huh? Huh?
The 8. Our most recent communication from Jason came in the form of a message on May 25th, 2023, and reads as follows. Thanks for the kind message. I appreciate the support. Also, let everyone know that the book that I wrote with Professor Long is available for pre-order on June 30th, Barnes & Noble. It's called Avenging Child Abuse.
I gotta look for that.
Let me know if you want to do any follow-up conversations. I'm just trying to come to terms with the whole decision and do my time as quietly as possible. Needless to say, it was worth it to me then. It's worth it to me now. But you are correct. This was a very, very strange decision by the board.
Fucking ridiculous.
No classes to take, no further therapy available, just more time required.
That's
odd.
bananas.
The circumstances of the 5-year delay of Jason's release are unclear and seem to be based on the inner workings of Alaska's parole system.
Alaska, you ain't shit.
They say teeth are stronger than diamonds.
I love my people in Alaska, but Alaskan legislature, y'all ain't shit. All right? So I'm gonna see for an update. So this video was 11 months ago. Don't worry, we're not gonna leave you hanging, IB. Kerry said that doesn't surprise me. Ironically, me either. It's ridiculous. Makes no sense. But that's what they do. I know he had an update recently. Yeah, let me do that. Let me pull that up and get y'all an update that I got from 2 months ago from JD Delay that I watched.
With the Alaskan Avenger. He calls me every single Saturday and we'll talk for a couple hours every Saturday morning. That's when Goose Creek Correctional Facility in the state of Alaska, the prison that he's been at for years, lets inmates make free calls. So he'll call me every Saturday morning and he gets 4 free phone calls. He calls me every Saturday. And then sometimes he'll just call me throughout the week. Sometimes it'll just be like a random time and he'll call me and I'll pay for the call. And it's like $3.17 to connect and then 14 cents a minute. And I got to hear an automated teller talk to me for like 14 hours to be able to connect the call. But it is what it is, man. That's just kind of how it is when you got somebody inside that you care about. So I talk to him every single week. And we've been talking about this for a while. And like, he didn't want to get no hopes up. There's been a lot that's gone on. So I want you guys to know this is straight out of his mouth. 100%. I started this out the way that I started this out. This isn't that I heard from somebody who heard that is at the institution. This is like 100%. Like, this is a confirmed kill right here. This is exactly what's happening. And you're going to get it direct from me. So, as one of his really super good friends, I've kind of sat on this for a few days until he said, hey, it's okay. I want everybody to know what's going on. So we're going to get into that in just a minute here. First off, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being a part of this community. I really appreciate you. We've got some key members of this community that do a really good job. They work overtime every time we do these lives, man. We got Trev in the chat. We got Abby in the chat. We got Mrs. Blaze in the chat. We got 3 flying monkeys in the chat.
For our sake. But I do say that if you're interested in any of this, you should be following JD Delay. So salutes to him. All right, let me get this. Let me screw this up.
Just hanging out because they like us, and they this is their father. Now his brother pressed charges against the father. Suffered extreme. This is our community, and they don't know about the Alaskan Avenger yet.
Here we go.
Jason Vukovic is the Alaskan Avenger. Now, Jason suffered extreme childhood SA when he was a kid, and so he grew up really not liking chomos, just like me. He's an anti-chomo type of dude because it was part of his past, It happened to him, and it happened to his brother, and it happened at the hands of their father. Now, his brother pressed charges against the father, and they ended up separating the brother and the father, but they didn't separate Jason. So he endured a lot more abuse at the hands of his father because the courts failed him. Not only did they fail him by not separating him from his father, what they did with Jason and his dad is they put Jason's dad on probation. They didn't even give him prison for what he was doing to these kids. So he grew up understanding how bad our justice system failed.
Right here, Zorada said, wow, this system makes me sick. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. What state? Alaska. It's disgusting.
Kids when this type of thing is happening to them. So, like me, Jay, he struggled. He tried, he did some good for a little while here, good for a little while there, but he went into a life of crime. He went into a life where he was indulging in substances that you should not indulge in. And at a certain point, he decided, you know what? I'm going to run this. And he went, this was after he had already served a little bit of time in prison. He got out and he was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be the avenging angel for these children who have been hurt. So he went on the internet, he got on his little trusty old laptop, and he looked up the registry for bad people who've done bad things. Y'all know what that is. You know which registry I'm talking about. And he got names. He looked up the names, and he checked the names and looked up their cases to make sure that these were people who had done the bad things to the kids. So he went to their houses. He did the first one. He broke in. He put a set on dude. You know what I'm saying? Beat dude up. Told him, I'm here to get vengeance and justice for your victims. And beat him up pretty bad.
It's going to make for an amazing movie, right? Who's going to make the movie? Who's going to write it? Somebody got to do it, right? Or is Hollywood so infested with these chomos and these PDF files that a movie like this would end up in production hell for 10, 15 years. Who knows? Hopefully somebody's writing it. If not, I might have to put my hands to it and write it. You know what I mean?
Bad. And he took off. He went to the second one. He took a hammer. Sometimes you'll see pictures and cartoons of the Alaskan Avenger, and he's wielding a big old Thor's hammer. It wasn't that type of hammer. That's an exaggeration. Just so you know, let's not separate reality from, whatever. So he had a hammer, and he beat the dude with a hammer, man. Beat the dude with a hammer. Told him the same thing. I'm here to avenge these children that you hurt. And, put a good smashing on them. Put a good little bruising up on these people. Then he went to a third house. Now, he had a list of 8. He had 8 names on this list with their addresses and everything. The third one, he got real good. The dude wasn't trying to go comply with the whole thing. He told him that he would split his dome, bro. He told him straight up, I'm going to split your dome. And he did a pretty good job of it. He messed the dude up real bad. And the cops ended up catching him, and they found this list with 8 names that he got from the registry of people that had done bad things.
He got 3. He had 5 more he was coming for. Salute to him. He was wilding. Look at how they did Sound of Freedom, 10 years to come out, Yeah. Now don't get it twisted. Sometimes things do end up in production hell and take 10, 15, 20 years to make. But when all the pieces are in play and there's still a problem, somebody's pulling strings. Do you only need to know the state or the actual prison to send him stuff? Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Let's see. I think he gives out information. I think JD gives out information. We're almost there.
To the wee ones. And so it was a big deal in Alaska. It was like a huge case. And it blew up all over the media. And they were trying to give him this insane sentence. And the media got a hold of it. And people put pressure on the courts. And so it ended up getting his sentence down from, I believe they were hitting him with 24 years. It got him down to 19 years, which was nice. It was something. But that's still, like, if you took each one of his victims and the time that they did for what they did, it's still like 4 times that amount.
Which is
crazy.
Ridiculous. It's
crazy. He did this to grown men. They did this to the wee ones. And he was doing 4 times as much time as all of them put together. So there was a very famous picture of Jason and his brother. Jason hadn't seen his brother in years. And Jason's brother came to court for his sentencing. And when Jason got sentenced, he got up, turned around, looked at his brother, and smiled. He's in cuffs in a yellow jumpsuit. He smiled and gave him a head nod like, got him, bro. got him, and his brother.
Pull up the picture real quick.
Smiled back at him, and they clapped that picture right there. And that picture has been like infamous for years. Like it was in all the newspapers. So like the internet, of course, because the internet loves a good vigilante story. We really do, especially when it comes to bashing chomos. This dude has been internet famous the entire time that he's been locked up. Everybody pretty much knows who the Alaskan Avenger is. If you say his name, people are like, is that the dude in Alaska who used the hammer? Yes, it is the dude in Alaska that used the hammer. So he had 19 years to do. He is at about 9 years. Last year, me and him had been talking for a while, and he's like, I got a parole hearing coming up. And I'm like, hey, why don't you let me send you a letter of employment from a letter of employment from my recovery coaching business, and it'll show that you have employment when you get out. It'll look real good for the parole board. And I said, when you get out, I'll hire you on. You can be a recovery coach and you can work with me. I think you'd be really good at it. And he was like, bro, I love that idea. Because he's been in there mentoring people, helping people. And he's just a really good dude. He's really been doing some stuff in there. So he really liked that idea. We did it. And they ended up shaving off 5 years off of his sentence, which left him still with 10 years. He still had 10 years to do. So with 10 years left, they shaved off 5. That meant he had 5 years left to do. Now, in Alaska, they gauge what you're available for with programs as your worst case scenario. The worst thing that could possibly happen to you, the latest date that you could possibly be incarcerated, that's what they set as your actual release date when it comes to programs. So, he wouldn't be able to get none of this, none of that, none of this, none of that. So he's been fighting to be able to get to minimum custody, right? And every week we talk about it. Once you get to minimum custody, you'll be able to work in the community. You'll be able to actually get access to things, because they don't let him get access to nothing in there. He's in a really bad joint. Goose Creek is not a great place to be. And so he was really stoked. And he called me, a few days ago, and he's like, hey, so I went in to have my appointment for minimum custody. And he said, the lady told me that they just changed the law and that they're now going by what my parole date would be. He said, she asked me if I wanted to go to a minimum custody prison or if I wanted to come home on ankle monitor, on electronic monitoring.
That seems like a no-brainer if you ask me. Shout out Carrie. She said, look at how they did Mutulu Shakur. Did his whole bid and some, and to come out and die in less than a year from being free. Yeah, that's it. They just throw your carcass out. They ain't gotta, pay for your cremation. Jonathan said the replay value on all of this is crazy. 100.
Now, they don't use ankle monitors in Alaska. They use Apple Watches. So the Alaskan Avenger could come out here and do house arrest with electronic monitoring and wear an Apple Watch. And I was like, what did you say? He's like, what do you think I said? I said, my dog, hell yeah. So we're really, really, really stoked about that situation.
Salute.
Dude has had multiple meetings, and I'm going to let you guys know a timeline and everything on that here in just a second. I just seen this. Audrey Aylward dropped a huge support. Thank you so much, sis. Just donating to your phone calls. Honestly, you're such a cool dude, JD. I appreciate what you do for justice. You're a very respectable man, standing up for the kids and telling the Alaskan Avenger's story. Both of you are heroes. Is that Jason needs to have a place to live? Big love, big respect. Appreciate you. So I was like, I needed to know a timeline, because here's the thing, is that Jason needs to have a place to live. He needed to have 2 months of the money that it's going to be for the electronic monitoring on his books to be able to cement this. He needs to have a phone. There's certain things that he needs to be able to do, and it's going to be expensive. And also, we've been talking for months about how when he gets out, me and Jax are going to be there at the gate. We want to document him walking out back into the free world. I'm going to take him out, take him shopping, get him some new clothes, get him some new shoes, get him set up for some of the things that he needs to be able to make it. I also need to show him how to make content, because what he wants to do, besides being a recovery coach, is he wants to get on here on YouTube, and he wants to be able to vibe out and zone out with you guys, because I've been telling him for so long how much I love doing this and how much it's enriched my life and how much we've been able to build a positive community and we've been able to raise awareness for, kids. He's decided he never wants to break a law again in his life. He never wants to be back in prison. He doesn't want to hurt people. He wants to use his influence to be able to change people's perspectives and be able to help do the things that he wants to do that way.
Listen, there's mad documentaries that could be done on Buddy. There's mad movies and TV shows that could be done on Buddy. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out IB. So that question of jail or ankle monitor was basically, hey, so how much you trust yourself to not go out and do the same thing again immediately upon release? Facts. Also, shout out to you, Shy, for spending your Friday evening bringing us this story. And to everyone in the chat, salutes to y'all. I came out today because you might not see me for the rest of the weekend unless I'm doing IRL while I'm outside. But I plan on being outside. I need some outside. I'll be inside when it rains and we'll be live. But, you might not see me for the rest of the weekend. Salutes to you. So like I said, Alaska sends them out in class. An Apple Watch. That's cool. Yeah, sends them out in class. An Apple Watch. I don't know the context of this, Big Blanc. Oh yeah, then you get ROR'd.
Instead of doing things that could get his freedom.
And that's it. And I'm also trying to be careful how much I say about, what he did, how he did it, how I feel about it, because you never know what these parole boards will pull up on the internet to try to use against Buddy. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Yeah, I'm gonna give me some sunlight for sure.
I'm taken away from him. So, I'm my life and how much we've been able to build a positive community and we've been able to raise awareness for, kids. He's decided he never wants to break a law again in his life. He never wants to be back in prison. He doesn't want to hurt people. He wants to use his influence to be able to change people's perspectives and be able to help do the things that he wants to do that way, instead of doing things that could get his freedom taken away from him. So, I'm getting him a new iPhone. I'm going to set him up with, the little studio stuff that he needs to be able to start making content. And, after we take him shopping, get him acclimated, get him a nice steak, all of that, we're going to sit down and we're going to do an interview. And he's going to be talking to you guys directly in this community. He wants to talk to this community before he talks to any other community on social media. And when we do that, he'll have his platform set up so you guys will be able to subscribe to him directly. This dude is one of the most poignant, intelligent, introspective, well-spoken people that you guys are ever going to hear from, man. Jason is so on point, and his views on protecting children are so amazing and so on point. I'm really excited, you guys. This is going to be really good. We're going to talk about a timeline here in just 1 second. Psycho Polka, thank you.
That's what we want to get to the timeline.
What we're talking about as far as time is 5 to 6 weeks. 7 weeks, 8 weeks at the absolute most. Dude is going to be back on the streets within 2 months. And I cannot.
Okay, Fred.
So this video was 2 months ago. So it's about that time.
Change will be good.
Now I was in his live today. Sorry, that shit was loud. I was in his live today, and there was people asking for an Alaskan Avenger update. So it should be coming up soon, hopefully.
For me, seeing a homie come out, especially someone who, in my opinion, he never should have been in prison in the first place. What he did was absolutely an amazing thing. So seeing him get locked up, especially for so long, It sucks, man, and he deserves the chance to be out here in the real world again. He deserves to be able to speak his truth to you guys. I am so incredibly excited. James Ward! Oh my God, brother, thank you so much. Homie, I appreciate that. That's huge, dog. Hell yeah, big love and respect to you, man. That means more than you could possibly know.
Dropped the donor on So yeah,
Jay is going to be back.
It should be coming soon. I'll keep my eye out for an update.
Back out here within 2 months, bro. Jason Vukovich, the Alaskan Avenger, is going to be on the streets. We're just getting money together to be able to get him an apartment. We have to get money together to be able to get him his first 2 months for house arrest. And that's basically all he needs, because I'm buying him a brand new iPhone. I'm going to get him, probably the 14, because I hate the 15. Like, when I went and got me and Jack's new phones, I got the 14 instead of the 15 because it breaks down too easy. But, yeah, we are really, really stoked on this.
So boom, there we go, 2 months. I'm going to look for an update before we get out of here. Salute Big Blanqui said, Zorada said they come out in class with a watch, and I responded, yeah, unless they're chomos. In that case, you just be released. Ain't that a bitch? That's crazy. Ooh, the system is broken, boy. Salutes IB celebrating the man's release. I will definitely do a live. When it goes down, I will do a live reaction to JD Delay, all of that good stuff. Everything that has to do with the Alaskan Avenger, y'all are with it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the coverage of the Alaskan Avenger. I think it was a story that needed to be told. There's a lot of stories that need to be told. You know what I'm saying? I get to them when I can get to them. But I think that was one that needed to be told. People got to know what's happening out here. Let me look and see if I find a it's a year ago, 9 months ago, 1 month ago. All right, major update from 1 month ago. We're gonna have to do this. I haven't done this. I don't know this answer here. So here we go. Let's see.
Work out and perk out with the Planet.
I'm iPhone killer, IB. I don't fuck with
Jason, at the beginning of last year.
I fuck with Mac computers, but I don't fuck with iPhone.
His sister, and me and him connected 29 before they had harmed them. For literally, dude, man, for those of you who don't know, he lived in Alaska. He was messed with by his dad for years, for literal years. This dude was the victim of childhood. You already know. YouTube doesn't like me to say it. So he ended up growing up, and he had problems like I did. He was a drug addict. He was a criminal. And at one point,
I need to learn all of the words that everybody gets hit for YouTube. There needs to be like some kind of dictionary of shit we can't say on this platform where you can't say shit. You know what I mean?
Decided that he was going to use the registry of terrible offenders in Alaska, and he was going to go into their homes and he was going to beat them with a hammer. He went in and he told them that this was justice for what they had done to the children that they had harmed. Pretty amazing story. He got 3 in on him before they ended up catching him. So for those 3, they gave him 29 years in prison. I ended up getting connected with Jason at the beginning of last year through his sister, and me and him started talking all the time, and he had a parole board hearing coming up, and I had decided that I wanted to give him employment. I wanted to hire him for my recovery coaching business as soon as he got out of prison. So I wrote a letter to the parole board, and I vouched for him, and I let them know that he had a job. As soon as he walked out, he would immediately be getting trained and certified as a recovery coach, and that he would be working for Hardcore Recovery Coaching. So he ended up getting 5 years shaved off, and he'd already gotten... Let's see, he went back for appeals. They took 10 years off, so he had 19 years to do. So they ended up taking the 5 off, which means that he only had to serve 19 years. 19 years. My math is bad, you guys. I'm bad with the math right now. Anyway, he ended up having 5 years left to do because they took 5 years off. He was already in for 9. So, that put him at a point where he was instantly eligible to go minimum custody. But They made him wait. They've been slow playing him. They've been messing him around. We've been trying to get him to minimum custody for a really long time. And then they told him that Alaska just changed the laws and that now he can get out on electronic monitoring. And what that is, for those of you who don't know, it's the same thing as house arrest, man. It's what I was on for 2 years in the state of Florida, except they didn't make me wear the ankle bracelet. In Alaska, they don't even use ankle bracelets. They use Apple Watches instead. So it's a lot more comfortable than having to wear a big-ass ankle bracelet that you got to plug in and charge, and it's stuck to you all the time. So he was really excited, really blessed. We were really stoked on that. Today he called me because we've been making all of these plans, but when he called me, instead of saying, you have a call from Goose Creek Correctional Facility, which is the medium max that he's been at for like 9 years, it said that he was at the farm camp. I think it's called McLaren Farm Camp. So he is literally at minimum custody. He is at a prison right now that is basically, it's a farm. It has no fence around it. He is like out there and he's driving around. Like they took him from being in yellow scrubs, like a yellow prison jumpsuit, to now he's wearing jeans and he's like, they gave me chaps, bro. I've never worn chaps before. Why do I have chaps? And he's out there. He's really out there, man. He's having a little bit of culture shock because when you go from a minimum, a medium max to a minimum, it's way, way different. It's absolutely a whole different scene. So people are more disrespectful. The COs are more disrespectful. You have like open everything. Like you could just walk around the place the whole day and you only have to check in twice a day, as opposed to being locked in a cell all day long.
Salutes. Good for him.
Basketball is back.
That's
Watch
progress,
the action live
right?
On a variety of networks.
All day long. So he's kind of tripping right now. He called me earlier today and he was like, man, I don't really know what to do with myself. And I was like, you already know exactly what to do with yourself. You reached out, you called somebody who cares about you, and we can talk about this. And you can call me 24/7. Anytime you need to, you can reach out, you can talk to me. But he's still in line for the electronic monitoring. So within the next like 30 days, they have, okay, so the way this works is you put in the application, they have 30 days to notify your victims. Now, 1 out of his 3 victims is already dead. If you guys saw the interviews that his victim did on the news, the one whose face was all mucked up and you could still see hammer marks in their face, that dude dead. He dead. So there's only 2 of his victims. They notify him. If the victims object, they take that into account. But they told him straight up that there's never been one person who got denied electronic monitoring because the victim objected. So, plus, I mean, bro, it's been like 10 years. It's been 10 years. So he is probably going to get out. As soon as that 30 days is up, and that'll be up the 4th of next month, then he'll have like a week until he gets out. So as soon as we hear that he's been approved and he's got a week left, me and Jax are booking flights. We're going straight to Anchorage, Alaska. We're going to land there. We're going to be waiting for him when he gets out of prison. We're going to have a hotel for however long it takes because we won't know the exact day. He's going to be getting settled into a new apartment. We're going to take him. We're going to get him some new clothes. We're going to get him some good shoes. I'm going to bring him a brand new iPhone, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. He wants to talk to you guys really bad. He really has heard so much about what we're doing out here and this whole community that we've built, and he really wants to be a part of this, and he wants to be able to talk to you guys. So I'm really excited. We're going to have him on, and he's going to be building his own channel. He's going to be doing his own thing, and I'm going to get him set up so he knows how to do all that. We'll be collaborating back and forth because this dude absolutely embodies the message that I am about. Not just what he did, but the man that he is today. The growth and the progress and the healing that he has had while he's in prison. This dude is going to impact the world in some major ways. So, first off, he's in minimum custody right now, enjoying a camp where he can go out and he can see the sky, he can see the stars. He's going to be eating fresh cooked food or fresh grown food that they grew right there and that was prepared right there for him instead of eating crap food at Goose Creek. His life just got a lot better until he gets out and takes that next huge step. He is this close to freedom. He said that one of the dudes said, hey man, how long's it been since you rode in a vehicle without shackles on? He's like a decade? And he was like, come on, let me take you for a ride in the truck. So he jumped in the truck and was riding around the farm with this dude, man. I am so happy for him. So I told you guys I would keep you updated anytime that we had new news about what's going on with the Alaskan Avenger. He has been moved. After all this time, he's finally at a minimum. Preon said, what's going on, JD?
Right, there you go. All right, so that was, let me check the date on this. This was a month ago. This was April 5th. Let me see if there's any other update. Salutes, Rilo. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for participating tonight. Have a good night, bro. Appreciate you. Let's see. I don't see any update. Hope he gets out. Yes, salutes. Don't see an update. They're probably slow rolling him again. As long as he's on the farm, he's good. He's on his way home. I'm looking in the shorts to see if there's any update. No, nothing. Salutes JD Delay, man. He's doing good work. I haven't seen nothing that, no red flags. Like, dude is really in it because he's in it. You know what I'm saying? So salutes to him, right? Boom. Likewise, Rilo. Salutes to you, sir. What's up? So yeah, no update as of yet. Evil groups in America, Germany laws. Let me do this search right here. 9 months ago, 2 months ago, year ago. Month ago. No, so far that's it. And again, they asked him today in his live chat if he had any update, and I didn't hear him say nothing. I didn't watch the whole live, but I'll get to it and see if he had an update. And if he had an update, I'll let y'all know, man. Salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all. We hung out tonight. We talked about a couple of things. Salutes to y'all. Let me go through the chat real quick. Shout out Young Jizzle. Ivan Levi, salutes to you, sir. Aquino, appreciate you. 030 North, per usual. Thank you, sir. Big Blanc, salutes. Also, my brother, salutes to you. 773-707, I appreciate you. 323G. Martin Leon. Perfecto J, salutes to y'all. Erica, appreciate you for coming through. Leobaldo, it's a pleasure per usual. Victor, thank you, sir. Upper Echelon, always a pleasure. Omar Carranza, thank you for coming through, sir. IB, you already know what it is. One up, man. Martin Leon, hit that like button, y'all. He said it. All right, who else? Go Bucks, salutes to you, Go Bucks. Jonathan Pantoja, per usual, thank you, sir. We appreciate you all the time. Salutes. Let's see who else we got here. Again, Go Bucks, salutes to you, sir. Think like a kingpin, always a pleasure. Appreciate you checking in. Carrie, it was a pleasure. I appreciate your insight and your input tonight. Miguel Lopez, thank you, sir. Gianna, be safe out there. Watch your steps. Ask questions. Be wary of everything. All right? Salutes. Zoraida, always a pleasure. Rilo, always a pleasure, sir. 298 Sosa, appreciate you. Big June, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for stopping through. Chucky Chingong, salutes to you. Velez, again, always a pleasure. IB said he lives in my same town. I'm still waiting on the day I run into him in the store or something. JD Delay, that is salutes, man. Give him a salutes for me. You see him, bro. Salutes. All right? Salutes, Carrie. Appreciate you. IB, always a good time with you and all the chat. Thank you, Shai, for being you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right, Big Blanc, much love, my boy. Salutes to you, man. Y'all have a great night. All right. If y'all see me over the weekend, it'll be outside, hopefully. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes something pops up and I got the urge to talk about something. I'm going to fire up the live. We'll see what happens. Jonathan Pantoja says, salute, Shayo, my dude, blessings. Thank you for another great day of great content. Diversifying and growing with the content. Salutes to you. I appreciate you. And again, like IB would say, I appreciate your positivity, sir. Thank you very much. All right, y'all have a great night. Y'all have a good day tomorrow. I'm going to do some editing and put some videos out from these clips. And, make sure you share them with your people. Share them with your friends. Somebody needs to know about the 11-year-old Sicarios. Somebody needs to know about all this PDF file activity out here, all right? Again, I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night. And we're going to go out the way we came in with at the end of the day and relentlessness, all right? Peace. I'll holla.
Is that you won, you push yourself to your purpose, you persevere through the slums, maneuver smooth through the hustle, you careful making your runs, everyone packing pistols, stay safely behind your gun, make sure you got your own back, them busters run, don't end up doing long time, cause busters some, looks like loyalty's a thing of the past, and these gangster flicks and rap vids got y'all gas, so when the lead start flying, my guess is that's your ass, cause death will let no man pass, my circle is small and for the living, the strong and unforgiving, no nonsense, the driven, each one obsessed with winning. Settle for less is bullshit, I want it all. Take yours, cut it all up and give to the poor. Sit back, watch the fireworks and witness the war. At the day's end, I want more. At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the cloud goes up, put the playlist on, let the sound go up. For the drama, you ain't got no beef, and I ain't got no time, cause I don't get no sleep, and I don't need help, only I can do me, and I'ma be fine, cause I wasn't born weak, see the world ain't mine, cause I wasn't born meek, but I walk this planet for the things that I seek, I suffer in the gutter, push my being to the brink, create what wasn't there, bring life to what I think, blow my cloud in the air, keep my consciousness in sync, my instincts well aware, prepare to throw the kitchen sink, keep fighting till it's finished, till the whole shit sink, till I hit rock bottom, bounce back and reach peak. Back in my proper placement, ready for shit I'm facing. Still feeling alive, cause my heart's still racing. My mind's still moving towards the peace I'm chasing. Tomorrow's not promised, so motherfuck patience. At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the cloud goes up, put the playlist on, let the sound go up. Till the clouds show up, when the cloud come down, put it right back up and fly. Put the cloud back up and fly. Put it right back up and fly. The blunt side roll, lift the cloud off my soul, and help me understand exactly where I'm supposed to go. Help me make a stand, know what I'm supposed to know. See through the facade, try to let my anger go. Life goes on, another show, another town, some other clowns, some other hoes, but the only thing that matters waiting on me back at home. Legacy building in the midst of menacing villains, murdering children like the killings becoming thrilling. The rush of bloodlust, women, baby, civilians. Land gon' become sand from all the graves that they filling. Bodies in the lake of the shake on the sidewalk. Yellow crime tape, nothing fake, no outline chalk. Just a kid meeting his fate, knowing his time gone. Bleeding out, hearing the screams of his crying grandma. Dying inside, cause she know that her grandchild gone. So there's nothing left to say. At the end of the day, when it all goes away, nothing left to see here, nothing else to say. When the hanging from a thread till you dead. Cause your partner put a price on your head. Cause your chick was laying up in his bed. She getting details, spilling every word that you said. She working retail, thirsty bitch just trying to get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale, a fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep part. You a savage, you can have it, just show all your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, the soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this lands for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shivering, it's a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers will shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving.